The schools over here will like cancel school at the drop of a hat, like for weather stuff. So like we've had like some decent snow. They School was literally canceled for a week and a half, and it's like the roads were, for the most part, except for then like the surrounding hill area, like the roads were taken care of after a couple of days. But literally school was canceled for a week and a half. And then there was in the weather that we might get a couple more inches, instantly canceled. It didn't even snow. So it's like it's like there's this, I don't even know, just this fear that permeates like everything over here over like snow. It's very very odd.
That seems weird though, because doesn't the DC area get a lot of snow on average?
Yeah. Yeah. Like it snowed like a, let's see, it was literally 2 weeks ago now. It snowed like a foot. It was decent, but it wasn't icy or anything. It snowed a foot, you know? Um,
Yeah, but
and it's still here. It hasn't gone anywhere, but all the roads have been taken care of. But the thing is, like, it was being like talked about as this like winter storm, right? It even got named something, right? And so like that just like contributes to people freaking out about it.
yeah, the
So
winter storm stuff didn't that was like the Midwest and like Texas and stuff that got hit with that.
In
I
the
don't
east,
know.
I thought.
We
I don't know. I
definitely
just know.
were in the storm, but it was just a foot of snow and nothing else. So
Yeah. Actually, I guess I should say it was more than that because I know Florida got some snow. I have a friend who lives in Dallas and they got like a few inches of snow and some ice that stuck around for about a week. So like definitely some places got it, but it just seems weird that Virginia of all places would or West Virginia would be like, "Oh no, freezing temperatures, snow," when like it seems like they get that every year anyway.
it is the least educated state in the country. So I mean, just
Not the area where
trying
you
to
live though.
yeah, but just in
You don't
general, like this state is the least educated state in the country. So on like however that's defined, I'm not sure, but yeah.
I don't know. We're supposed to get snow this week again, so we'll see if it does. Snowed a few weeks ago, and then it only snowed for like 2 days, but then it stuck around for like a week and a half because the temperatures just didn't go up. So
Yeah, I mean, it has been like freezing cold here. Like, I don't think it's gotten above freezing since 2 Sundays ago. And like today and yesterday has been super windy too. So like you just don't go outside.
Damn right I
Yeah.
don't.
Exactly.
Where do you live in Virginia? West Virginia?
I live in Martinsburg, which is, I don't know if you know the shape of West Virginia, but it's like, it's the eastern panhandle of West Virginia. It literally,
So like right
basically,
next to.
it almost butts up to Washington, D.C., basically. Like, D.C. is about an hour and, well, it depends on when you go. Some days it's 3 hours, some days it's an hour and 15 minutes. But,
Fuck that.
yeah, as the crow flies, how many miles though from DC?
ooh, I don't know
Not
how many
far,
miles
right?
it is. I don't know how many miles it is. But there's a lot of people that live in this area because of that big city effect where like the people start moving further and further away that live there because it's so much cheaper, but then they still commute like the hour and a half to 2 hours it takes to get into the city. It's crazy. It's actually so crazy. The amount of people that commute to work in DC, hotels and stuff are more expensive during the week than they are during the weekend in DC because people go there for the week and stay there for work and then come home for the weekend. So it's like, normally you expect weekends to be like more expensive for hotels, but it's the weekdays that are more expensive because that's when the demand is highest. It's kind of funny.
Speaking of hotels, you mean you probably haven't talked to Reagan, but he and Colby and Millie were down in Reno this weekend, and Colby had booked their hotel ahead of time, not realizing, I guess, that it was one that was connected to a casino, but like not one of the resort casinos, just a regular casino. And Colby's only 20, he's not 21. And I guess on the phone, the guy was like, he told the guy, like, yeah, the other two guys are 21, but I'm only 20. Is that going to be a problem? And the guy was like, no, it's not an issue. And he was like, also, we're probably going to get in at like 2 in the morning. Is that going to be a problem for check-in? And the guy was like, no, not an issue. They got into town closer to like 3:30, but Yeah, they were when they went to the hotel, the person at the desk was like, "No, you can't check in. Like you've missed the window." Even though it was a room they booked for 2 nights.
How can
And
you do that if there's somebody at the desk? They're like, yeah, you've paid for this room and it's ready for you, but you're not allowed to check in. What?
especially when you booked it for 2 nights, because it's not like,
Yeah,
oh, we booked
yeah.
it for tonight and we're showing up at 4 in the morning or something. We're only going to be here for a couple hours and leave.
Yeah.
Like,
Even then, though, I paid for it.
Exactly.
and so they wouldn't let them check in, but they thought that maybe the lady would have worked with them a little bit on that. But then she found out that Colby wasn't 21, and she's like, "No, I can't check you in. Everyone's got to be 21."
So where'd they stay? They just had to go find a different hotel?
They broke into Millie's uncle's house.
Broke in.
Kind of. I mean, his uncle and his fiance are out of town, so there's nobody at the house. Millie was like, thankfully their security system wasn't on, and they were a little worried about it, I guess. They kind of broke in, I guess. It's not like they smashed a window or something, but they got into
be
the
crazy.
house. And then they texted his uncle in the morning. His uncle was like, "Oh yeah, that's fine if you stay there. You can stay another night if you want." They were like, "Cool, thanks." So
Why didn't they, if
That
he
was
has
the
an
plan.
uncle that lives down there, why didn't they just ask him in the first place? Why spend however many hundreds of dollars on a
probably because they
casino
knew he was out
hotel
of
that's
town.
not going to let you in?
Probably because Millie knew he was out of town.
All the more reason.
Yeah, that's,
I don't
that's
know.
even better.
I don't know. I'm not sure why they did that. I think they also had it in their heads because like the last time they were here, I guess they stayed with him, and like they said it was uncomfortable. They had to sleep on a lot of couches and stuff, and they were just like,
okay.
we don't really want to do that again. And so they were like, okay, well this time we're gonna book a hotel room, and it's gonna be like a nice, relaxing stay. And
They
Yeah.
put the 20-year-old in charge of it. Smart.
I know I missed a call from Reagan at 3:45 in the morning because he was like,
Really?
He said they called every hotel that they could and asked if they could get a room, and all of them said no. And so he was like, well, maybe we'll stay with you. But he called me, and I never have my ringer on at night.
Yeah, I'm not
So-
going to answer a phone at 3:45 in the morning, unless it's
Well,
work.
if I'd seen Reagan was calling me at 3:45 in the morning, I would have answered because I'd probably think it was an emergency.
Yeah.
Wait, so
Like-
was this Reno?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. I was like, why is he calling you? Like, what are you going to do about it? Call more hotels?
I know. Yeah, so I told him, I was like, yeah, next time you should probably plan to leave earlier so you get here earlier, and don't book something that's connected to a casino.
How long of a drive is that?
It's like close to 9. Well, it's close to 9 hours, 8 to 9 hours, depending on how you stop.
What did they do?
If
Leave
you
after
make
work?
Yeah, they left at 5 something, I think.
Jeez.
In the evening. But then also, they played some kind of game they were telling us this at dinner last night. They played some kind of game on the way down where if you said certain words, you automatically earned a quarter mile of running. And by the time they got to Klamath, all of them had 2 miles in running. So they ran around the Love's truck stop for 2 miles. And that added like an hour and 15 minutes to their time at Klamath.
Dude, nothing makes 2 miles feel like 10 than running it around a Love's truck stop at 2 in the morning.
Not 2 in the morning. It was probably like 11 at night, but it was...
That is such a strange concept to me because, like, nobody in my family or me or, like, nobody would ever do that. Like,
College boys.
That's the exact reason why that would be the bet, is because you don't run.
yeah, I wouldn't say a fucking word for the entire trip. I would sit there in silence.
Aaron's like, if you need me, I'll be asleep.
Yeah, while I'm
Just
driving.
cocoon up and tune people out.
Yeah. So, yeah, fun stuff for them.
What do you say?
Weirdos.
9 hours, 10 hours of a drive?
If you make really good time, like if sometimes we only stop once in Klamath and that's it. And you can do it in about a little over 8. If you stop a couple of times, though, it usually gets closer to 9. So,
What's the longest
it's not
you've ever
awful,
driven?
but it's a long drive.
Longest, probably about 8 hours. No, I drove to South Dakota once, and that was longer.
But like in one day?
Yeah. But, do you mean like me at the wheel or like just taking turns or?
I don't know. I didn't
Okay,
think about
well,
the question. I
so-
just asked it.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, this is what you get. Yeah, probably that in terms of just being in a car for a long time. I probably drove for like 6 hours of it.
I drove up once from where is it? What's the place we stayed at a couple times? The Angels No Granny. What is that? Eagle Creek or something?
Eagle Crest. It's
Eagle
been more than a
Crest.
couple of times. That was a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah, yeah. Felix and I once drove up from there to somewhere in Canada, because that was when we met his family and like traveled around a little bit. So that was a long drive.
Yeah, somewhere in BC, right? Or Alberta?
Yeah, we met with his family before, like right before going over to Vancouver, BC. But I've had
Because
long
then
trips.
I remember something about Felix being like, "Oh, it's not going to be that bad of a drive or something. Like, we'll just drive it up." And then he was kind of, I remember him being kind of like, "Whoa, that's actually going to take a really long time."
Yeah, I also did most of the driving too.
Yeah, that's not
Like-
surprising.
I've done a couple long trips. Like mom and I went down to Texas once. We went to visit Audrey in Iowa once. Of course, I drove here a few years ago, but I don't remember any like. I don't think on any of those trips there were any like supremely long days of driving. I think we split it up pretty decently most of the time.
Yeah, even the road trips we did as like kids growing up, it was I'm trying to think, like there were probably a couple long days of driving there because we also did a Canada road trip. There
That's
were probably
different.
a couple
That's,
of days
none of
in
us
there
were
that were long.
driving.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still a lot of time in the car. And sometimes I think it's worse when you're a little kid because you get bored more easily.
Not anymore.
Yeah,
These
right.
fuckers,
Well-
they have tablets, and I mean, I guess it depends on your parents, but
Back in the early 2000s when that wasn't even an option.
yeah, I love
Best-
like forcing that on my younger siblings. Like, they'll want to stay here because they don't want to go to town with my mom because they're grounded from their tablet or something like that, and I'm like, no, you're gonna go through. It like builds character to watch, the raindrop race across the street or window or whatever.
Yeah, doing the looking out the window and imagining like a motorcycle driving over all the terrain that you see. Did you
Yeah.
ever do that, Aaron? Yeah, you're just like out there like watching all the landscape, like just imagining like a motorcycle jumping off of stuff and
So I didn't do that. I imagined like a guy running. We had a
or
tree
that.
farm
Sure.
right next to my old house in
Oh,
Portland.
yeah.
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 Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
the
driving
tree
by
farm. I
those.
remember that.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
always try to like look and see how far down them I could see.
I would
Yeah.
just
It was
get
kinda spooky.
mesmerized. You just stare at them and you're just like, don't.
Yeah.
That's
They
so
cut
weird
all
for
those
you
down,
guys
though,
to
right?
know about that.
Finally?
Yeah, they did cut them down. Yeah.
Well,
Like
we
a
drove by
potatoes.
it all the time. Every time we went to the Dalles to see my grandparents or up to Seattle to see family, we had to drive by it both ways. So
Well, right. I saw it daily though. Like, so it's like, I don't know, weird to.
Did you
have
drive
other people-
through
yeah.
it one time, Aaron?
Huh?
Did you drive
like
through
in
one
it,
one
yeah.
time? Yeah. I vaguely remember you telling a story about that years ago.
Yeah, we went mudding. This March, I'm gonna be in a plane for 12 hours ish, or
12 hours. Where are you going? Hawaii?
maybe not. No, to Peru.
Peru. What you doing in Peru?
Yeah.
gonna go see Machu Picchu.
No, I wish. No, I got a lady down there. I'm gonna be seeing.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
how did
Go
you
on.
meet somebody who lives in Peru?
I don't want to fucking say it's.
Okay,
Cringe.
I'm just
No,
curious.
We met on Facebook dating.
That's a thing.
Wait, is that
That's
a
the
thing?
thing,
Like an
yeah.
app?
Facebook has a dating app.
Yeah. So
To be
not
fair,
only that,
Facebook started as like a, well, not a dating app, but as
Yeah,
a like
it's a little
swipe right, swipe left
Yeah.
kind
raunchier
of
than
thing.
that. Yeah.
Just a face card rating thing, essentially.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've all seen The Social Network.
Exactly.
Yeah, they have one, and it's actually pretty nice because there's no like premium stuff to it. I
Yeah.
don't know if you
Yeah.
guys have ever used other dating apps, but you gotta like,
Not at a
Fork
time
over
when they were
money.
charging for anything.
yeah, it's super expensive, and I was not about that. I wasn't even
Mhm.
about this. And
See, there you can already find somebody that's like on the same, has some shared values. You're like, oh, you're on the free dating app.
yeah, frugal. Yeah. I also like they by default have you like set up to worldwide, and I
That's wild.
every time I got on there, I immediately switched it to like a 100 mile radius,
Hmm.
and yeah, didn't have well no success technically, but like little things here and there, and then I don't know, one day I didn't even realize it as I was just swiping like a madman, casting a wide net, and then and I guess she was doing the same thing, and here we are. I'm going to fucking Peru in
Wait, so
a
where
month.
does she live in Peru? I've got a friend.
Lima.
Oh, she's right in Lima. Okay, cool. I've got a friend here that was born and raised in Peru. He just went back recently, but he's like, yeah, he loves. I mean, he loves it. He was born and raised there, but yeah, they just went back recently. Um, that's really cool.
Peru actually
That's
seems
super
like a
cool.
cool country.
It
Like,
does seem, yeah, yeah. I've been
I
obsessed
never
with it
hear
ever
anything
since.
bad about Peru. Like, it doesn't
I
seem.
do,
I mean,
but
like, well,
Because
because they
because
so
you're.
live
Peru.
there.
Yeah. But I feel
Yeah.
like on a like compared to some countries in South America, like they don't have like a bad rap or anything. Like
Yeah,
they,
yeah,
and it
like
seems like really beautiful and like you never
Colombia
hear anything
or
bad about like anyone that lives there. So yeah, I'm sure people that do live there are like, yeah, they have their own complaints about it. Just like anybody who lives
Well,
anywhere.
well, we've
I
had
was
like
just
8
listening.
presidents in the last 2 years,
God, that's a good sign.
so there's a bit of yeah.
Uh,
Oh, okay. So there's
Our
some.
presidents eat people, so I don't know what's going.
Yeah.
It's yeah, clanking the
I was
eye
just
or whatever.
listening. I was just listening to I think Joe Rogan just had what's his name, Paul Rosalie on again recently.
Oh yeah,
Who's
Amazon guy.
the Amazon guy, and he was talking about how, in his estimation, Peru has surpassed Colombia in cocaine exporting. And
Really?
so that is obviously going to wildly change a lot of the social and political, structures of the country when you
Yeah,
surpass
yeah.
Colombia. So,
Yeah, I guess. Okay, so maybe Peru is not as great as I thought it was. I don't know.
but I think it's still a beautiful country. I mean, like part of the Amazon is there. Like I think it's still like gorgeous, and there's crazy history. Yeah. So, Aaron, you gonna go investigate some EAP while you're down there?
I wish. Yeah, I don't even. She knows I'm obsessed with aliens. I don't think I've ever actually told her about like Peru's uh history there.
Mm-hmm. Or
Um,
like the Nazca lines, or like the three-fingered humanoids, that kind of stuff. Yeah, Peru's whack.
I'm trying to like slow drip my
You don't want to
conspiracies.
front load that.
It's not a
You're
great
like,
icebreaker.
you're like, all right, yeah, we're gonna hang out in Peru for a while. Then we're going to Egypt. That's awesome.
Yeah.
How long are you gonna be down there?
Maybe for a week, maybe a little bit longer. I'm gonna be going right before spring break, so I'm gonna have a little bit of extra time. But she goes back to college right when my spring break starts, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what we'll do there. I don't know if I want to like stay longer while she's busy, 5 days of the week.
Dude,
So
do it. Stay
we'll
as
see.
long as you possibly can. Like you're already paying for that flight. Like take advantage of every day you can get down there. Because when you come back to Hermiston, or sorry, up in Washington now. When you come
Catalina,
back, you're gonna
yeah.
be like, "Damn, the U.S. blows." So
No,
trust me,
no,
take
don't
take
say
advantage
that.
take advantage of every minute down there, bro. Trust me. Just go to bars, like hitchhike, like do whatever. Just have experiences. Trust me.
I feel like we're
Don't
both
buy any
kind of
cocaine though.
well, I need a way to make money. Um, I feel like we're both trying to kind of hint at the idea of like the other person moving to, or maybe we'll go both to a different country. I don't know, something. Um, so hearing that does not give me a lot of confidence. Also, she listened to the podcast, so she might
Oh
end up
Okay.
no.
listening to this.
I hope she does.
And
Yeah, I hope so too.
fuck you. I'm gonna have to move to Peru now.
I'm just saying. Hey, I'm just
know-
saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Although
I just-
Nate's
I've
never
just-
been to South America, so
I have not.
take
It's
his
next. It's
take
next on
with
our
his-
list.
Right, right.
with a grain of salt.
But I mean, you have a friend that grew up there.
Yeah, that's part. Like he's been really urging me to go down there and spend some time down there. So I think that'll probably be one of the next ones on Anna and I's to go list is like Chile, Argentina, Peru, hitting a few places.
That'll be
there.
fun with a kid.
Yeah,
If
it'll
I
be
go
interesting.
down there and stay for an extended period of time, you can come down and stay with us or something.
Yeah, dude, absolutely.
That'd
That would
make it
be
easier.
sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know that? Does Aaron know, Karina?
Oh
About your
no, he
announcement?
doesn't.
It happened,
Yeah, does
like,
he
you
know-
posted about it, like,
Oh, okay.
I assume this is what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Are you talking about Nate? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm also having a kid.
What the fuck? I did not hear about. And you're announcing it on the
No.
podcast? We're recording, right?
Yeah,
Is
we
everybody
are.
recording? Okay.
Yeah.
So I should start?
Yeah, right.
I'm kidding. Yeah, okay. You're having
You're
a kid.
not that green
Congratulations to
anymore,
both of
Aaron.
you. When's that happening?
Yeah, so my baby's due in July. So a month after Nate's kid.
Yeah, ours is June. Yeah.
Damn, that's exciting.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
Big
starting, man.
changes.
Yeah, now you guys are like
Nah.
officially adults. Like you're just cosplaying as adults until you have a kid.
I was just saying, like, there's something, like, I just know that I'm trying to soak up every last second of not having a kid yet, because I just know that,
Yeah.
like, not even, like Anna and I very much are approaching this with wanting to make as few lifestyle changes as possible, like, not wanting to center our life around the fact that we have a kid now, but, like, wanting to try and live as much the same life as we can. Like I said, we're still, like, we want to go to, like, South America next, like, and hike and do stuff, like, and there's going to be
Yeah.
a kid with us. So, we don't want to, like, change everything about our life, but I just know that, like, my mind frame is going to change, right? It's like, I have a kid now. Like, I'm like de facto in a different season of life now, basically.
Yeah.
And so there's going to be
That's a
a little
paradigm
bit of,
shifter.
like, yeah, there's going to be some, like, a little bit of nostalgia for times when it was just Anna and I in a crappy apartment, like, you know, watching Game of Thrones on a crappy TV, like those kind of memories, are like going to be like a time of their own, which will soon be gone, you know? So it's just really interesting to think about.
I definitely agree, though. Like, Bradley and I, same thing. We're trying to be like, okay, we know we're having a kid, but I don't like those people that become like, oh, you have a kid, and now everything is just about that kid. And, like, they lose all, like, all interest in anything they did before they had a kid, and everything just has to be, like, focused on, like, either being hyper kid friendly or just that it's like they forget that they're allowed to have their own interests and hobbies and, you know, personality outside of being a parent.
Wait,
And-
so are you guys talking about like like not making your personality about being a parent
Or
like,
lifestyle
putting
or
the child
anything, yeah.
first?
Well, I mean,
Well, I mean,
obviously,
like, obviously
you
you'll-
prioritize, like,
You
the
both
child's
like to say
safety
Yeah,
and
not that.
nourishment, and, like, it's not just like, oh yeah, like, we have a baby, we see it in the evenings, like, you know, not like that,
Yeah,
but,
pretty
like,
high up there. But
not like everything about your life has to change and become, like, it's not like the baby becomes the focal point about everything in your life, because that's probably also not a healthy way. I mean, what do I know? I haven't raised a kid. I just don't know if that's a healthy way to raise a kid too, where, like, all of a sudden they are constantly the center of attention. It's like, we
Well,
didn't
it's-
enter the
I feel
baby's
like
life, the
it's-
baby entered ours, you know? So,
And I feel like it's probably good for a kid to see their parents as something more than just a parent, too, as like an individual person with interests and a life that, you know, like other things going on where it's not just Bradley's being super noisy back there. I'm going to wait a second.
Nobody heard it until you said something.
passive aggressive.
I don't know, but sometimes it picks up. Sometimes it picks it up, though, so.
Scream at him.
Anyway, just like I feel like it'd be good for them to see their parent as somebody that has a life before them and interests outside of them, and that it's not all just about them as a, you know, being like, oh, we're entirely focused on this. And I don't know. And it's just annoying too. Like, I know it'll be different as somebody with a kid than it is right now as somebody who doesn't have a kid yet. But like, I feel like everybody knows those people that they have a kid, and then they never want to hang out anymore. They never want to do anything. And then when you do see them, the only thing they talk about is their child. It's like nothing else exists in their world anymore. And it's like, I don't want to be that kind of person, because it drives me crazy when I spend time with people like that. They're not fun. Like, They don't feel
I
like your friend anymore.
And
I
you don't
cannot
care
wait.
about their kid, right? So
Yeah, not in the same way. Absolutely not. Like, I have friends with kids that I love their kids, but I also don't care to hear, like, about every bit of a tiny
yeah, they're the kind
detail.
of people that you block on Facebook. You're like, okay, that's enough pictures of your child.
I cannot wait to have you guys tell me nothing about your children, and I also cannot wait until you both hold your, baby for the first time, and then like all the oxytocin hits your fucking frontal lobe or whatever, and then you're
It's
like completely like your eyes dilate
it's not
and
saying
you're
you
gone.
don't want them to enjoy being a parent.
Wait. I feel like this is coming off wrong. I am in no way like cynical or like this is not a problem for me. I am ecstatic that I'm going to have a kid, and I'm
Same.
overjoyed and cannot possibly wait. I'm just saying that there are parents and families that I look at like the way that like the child is like bubble wrapped into every element of life, and it's just having such a kid centered way of living your life just seems it seems a little bit unhealthy to me is all. I cannot
Especially
wait
when I see especially when I see the flip side, because I have like some of our good friends down here do have a couple of kids they have two kids, one who's 2 and one who's like 6 months. And so very small children that still need a lot of like obviously parent involvement in their life. And it's not that we never talk about their kids or that like their kids are not ever an important thing, but it's like it doesn't stop them from doing things. They're still like, yeah, we'll hang out, we'll do this, we'll do that. They don't go, oh, sorry, we've got a kid, we don't do that stuff anymore. And then when we do hang out with them, it's not like every conversation revolves around something to do with their children or that they're constantly bringing it back to that. It's like sometimes that comes up and it's fine. But then also a lot of times we talk about completely unrelated things, and it kind of in that way, it's no different than it was before they had kids when we would hang out. And so that's what I want, is like, not that it's a complete like ignoring the fact that the child exists, but I also don't want to go to the other extreme where it's like, well, this is the only thing that defines me as a person now. And I don't know. Like, yeah,
This
I'm
is
also
an
excited about
ironic
having a kid though.
conversation to be having.
An ironic
You're-
conversation to be having.
Yeah, you guys are talking about not wanting to be talking about kids or some shit.
Well, Aaron, I have a question for you. I have a question for you.
I have an answer.
Okay. Since by the way, what's her name? The girl in Peru.
I thought about that. I don't know if I'm allowed to. Like, I haven't talked to her about
Oh, okay.
disclosing
That's
that.
fine.
I didn't even
That's
talk
fine.
We
about
could
disclosing the fact that.
bleep it out too, but if you don't want us to know it all,
Oh yeah.
that's
Okay.
fine.
So her name is. Please.
Okay. Got it. I'll try not
She
to.
probably
Okay.
doesn't care. I'll bring it up.
We'll still just bleep it out just in case.
Since she
Really
is
loud, long
potentially
beep.
listening
Mhm.
to these, is that going to have an effect on your opinions, honesty, the way that you present yourself, the thoughts that you share on things? I'm wondering if this is gonna, like when you're around somebody, especially someone that you like, a lot of times it's harder to be yourself and easier to put on a front or a face that you want the other person to see, and to
Yeah,
hedge
peacocking.
things or hide things. Sure, if you want to, name it after an animal, we can do that. But I'm just wondering if that's even subconsciously. I don't know. What do you think? It's a genuine question.
So I do have a lot of thoughts about that. I think I try to put on an air of, this is, try to be my true self or whatever.
Transparency. Mhm.
Yeah. I think that's hard to do, like not just for someone that you're really into, but with friends, with family, with yourself. Like I think
Mhm.
there's just a lot of stuff going on there. But I'm not too worried about it. I try to.
But not about some of it, apparently. The aliens and such.
No, she knows. She knows about my.
You said you were trying not to lay it on too thick yet, though, so.
Yeah, well, I mean, if she asks, I tell. But
All right. Well, we've had a lot of time. It's been, I don't even know, like what, 2 months or more since we
2 months
recorded.
At least.
What you guys been watching? Maybe not everything you've been watching, but what's something you've been watching?
wait a minute, what the hell? Wait. I'm Aaron.
Oh, are we doing this right
You
now?
fucking
we
yeah,
doing this?
we're doing it. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
I didn't realize
30
that
minutes
you
into the
were-
podcast. When are we going to
I
do
guess
it?
we're all
Okay, I guess
co-hosts.
you're the one
We
that
can do
goes
that.
first.
I'm Nate. No, you already went.
Okay,
I'm Karina.
I'm in.
All right. So where was I? What you guys been watching? What you been watching?
Well, for the third
Good or
time
bad?
now, I've watched It's What's Inside, so that's cool.
That's
Super
dedication.
thrilled.
You watched it 3 times, huh?
Well, I watched it twice, thinking that we were going to do the podcast. Yeah.
Mhm. And then
in
just watched it
December.
again recently.
Yeah, watched it again last night to refresh the memory.
Mm-hmm.
It is a movie that rewards rewatching, but I'll save all that for when we're talking about
Sure.
it. Sure. I don't know, I'll have to think about what I've been watching. So if anybody else has something on top of their mind.
Um.
I mean, I've watched
I-
very little.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because throughout December, we were gone for a decent chunk of it, so I wasn't watching really anything. And then, yeah, since getting back from all the holiday travels, I've watched a couple of things, but not much. I watched, Bradley and I together, we watched Fury and the
Wait, say it
Ford
again?
versus Fury, the Brad Pitt
Oh,
World War
yeah,
II.
yeah, yeah.
It was
Yeah,
good. It was
That's
good.
a crazy good movie.
Yeah. And then we watched Ford versus Ferrari. I also really enjoyed that one. And then I guess in just like casual watching on my own, I'm watching a like cooking competition show that's Korean on Netflix. That's called Culinary Class Wars, and it's actually really good.
Class Wars. I love it.
Yeah.
Is it like Squid Games in a way? I don't know if you guys ever seen that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Not like
watched it.
Squid Games, or at least not up to the point that I've seen it so far. It's just like they have like, it starts with they bring in like 80 people that are not a celebrity chef or anything in any way. They're like local restaurant owners and stuff like that. But nothing well known. They're not famous or like special, I guess, in any way. And then they have 20 like people that are actual like well known like celebrity type chefs. Some of them are Michelin star chefs. And they start by making all like the 80 people compete against each other. They can cook whatever they want, and then the two judges only pick 20 of them to move on. And then those 20 then go head to head like in one-on-ones against the 20
Wait,
like
okay.
celebrity chefs.
Oh, they go head to head against the celebrity chefs. Wait, but so if you're throwing a bunch of chefs all together, and some of them are 5-star Michelin chefs, and some of them are
None
like
of them are 5-star.
Is that
I
a
thought you said
thing?
they
Does
were.
that exist?
4-star, whatever. You know what I mean?
4-star, yeah, whatever. No, they had one. There were 2 1-star Michelin chefs. There might have been a 2. They weren't all Michelin star. They're just the other ones were like well known, like famous restaurants. And it's like, oh, if you visit Korea, you're gonna go. You know, like people have heard of this. Or
Okay.
like some of them that have previously won other cooking shows and stuff like that have competed in other things and have some notoriety. They're, you know, some of them are. It's kind of interesting. 2 of the guys that are that were in the like the celebrity section are not even Korean. They just have restaurants in Korea. One of them's French and the other one's Italian.
They
And
like their
they just
restaurants.
really enjoy Korean cuisine, and they have opened restaurants in Korea as well as in France and Italy. So I don't know. It's a good show. It's been entertaining. It's just the only thing that is kind of, I guess it's not annoying, but it's just like I can't watch it as casually as I would because I have to read the subtitles. So
Wait,
that
why?
makes it a little bit because it's in Korean.
Oh, it's a Korean show. Oh, I missed that. Okay.
It's on Netflix, but yes, it's all Korean. Yeah, so you got to read the
Okay.
subtitles. So, but yeah, it's a good show. I'm enjoying it. I like that kind of cooking competition stuff.
Is there a dubbed
So.
version?
What's wrong with
I
you?
don't know.
Just read.
I don't ever watch dubbed stuff.
No,
so
I hate dub. I don't watch dubbed. I'm just wondering if they dubbed it.
I don't know. I didn't
That
even
would
look
be
for that
pretty
option.
funny.
Yeah, it would. That's funny.
All right, that's me though.
I have a love-hate relationship with reality TV, which I think cooking shows like that count as
That's
reality
okay, yeah,
TV, right?
yeah.
Or they're more like game shows, but yeah.
They don't bother me as much as like reality TV,
Oh
like
yeah, no,
The
I couldn't
Bachelor
watch
or something.
I
I
don't
can't watch
actual
that at
reality
all.
TV. No, never. I can't. What was the second thing you said? You said Fury and Ford versus Ferrari.
Ford versus Ferrari.
Is decent. What I would highly recommend though, if you've seen that and liked it, is Rush. Have you seen Rush?
I've seen Rush.
Okay.
Yeah, I watched
Rush
that
is
one years
fantastic.
ago. Yeah, I liked it.
I
Yeah,
don't think I've heard of that one.
they're both good.
It's
Yeah.
It's a true based on a true story between a couple rival Formula One drivers, and it is
Oh, okay, yeah. I've
Very
seen
well
a lot
made.
of
Ron Howard
shorts
films.
from it.
Yeah, it's very
Yeah, it was that one was also really good. I watched that probably like 6 or 7 years ago.
Cool.
6, 7.
Oh, stop.
I work at an elementary school.
Uh,
Okay, it's just part of me now.
Yeah, my husband works in a middle school. Like he doesn't come home and say it all the time.
He's Unk, so.
That's a good
Anyways,
point. I love hearing Bradley talk about the kids that he teaches and the way that he feels about them. Like, just like talking about how he wants to bitch slap all these like little middle schoolers and he can't stand them. He hates them and they're little bitches and all this stuff. It's so
But
funny.
he doesn't actually hate them. He likes his job, but they
No,
get on
it's
his
just
nerves for sure.
The way that he talks about them outside of the context of actually being there is hilarious. I love it.
Yeah. He did have an interesting experience this week on Friday at the end of the school day. He said he was like in the office to sign some paperwork or something, and like there was like some screaming that he heard, and a couple of kids were like, there's a fight, which there's a lot of fights at this school. So he was like, oh great, you know. So he goes out there. It was a dad that was beating the shit out of his kid, like in the lobby of the middle school. Like he said he had his kid up against the wall, like with his arm on his throat, and was punching him, and like then ended
does
up like
kid do?
dragging him out. Who knows? I don't know. Bradley didn't get there for that part.
It doesn't matter,
but-
Aaron. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter
I mean,
what
it doesn't
his kid
matter.
does.
That's still a crime.
It doesn't
Still
matter.
not okay. And so yeah,
The moment that you pin your kid up against a locker and start
what if
punching
that
him in the
kid
gut,
is sacrificing like 1,000 babies a day? Like what? There's no like.
you're still a full-grown adult, and this is like a 12 or 13-year-old child. You do not get to just do that. You shouldn't even do that to another adult in most contexts, but like
Well,
definitely not to a
depends on the
child.
context in that situation. But
I said in most contexts, but yeah, like, so anyway, I don't like the administration was handling it, and he said like the cops got called, like they probably,
of course,
I don't know what happened, if they went to the school first and like checked the video and then went to the guy's house or what happened. But I was like, yeah, it'll be interesting to see if that kid comes back to school, because I wouldn't be surprised if he gets moved into like child protective services or something.
well, you still go to school when you're in CPS, but
Yeah, but they might move him somewhere else. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how all that works, but it'd be interesting. I don't know. I'm sure that dad is probably losing all custody and never
Yeah,
gonna.
probably in jail.
hope so.
Hopefully in jail. Yeah. So anyway, that was the end of Bradley's work week this week, and he was like, "That was
Nice.
eye-opening." Especially because we were like, if you'll do that in public at school where there's cameras
yeah,
and other
what are you
people,
doing
like,
at
what's
home,
going on at home?
Oof. Yeah. I watched an Oregon-made film. I'm assuming this is probably the most famous film to ever be made from an Oregon-based studio. Would be my assumption. I'm guessing you've both seen this. It's an animated film. Any guesses?
An animated film from Oregon?
Yep. It's Coraline.
Oh shit!
Oh, I did not know that was an Oregon-made film.
Yeah. It's made by an Oregon-based studio, and it theoretically takes place in Oregon too.
Huh.
But I'm guessing you guys have both seen Coraline. You seem like people who
Yeah.
have watched
I
it.
mean, yeah, like way back
I
in
don't know
the
what that's
day.
supposed to
Yeah.
mean, but
It's a weird movie. I mean, it
it's
definitely
kind of
doesn't
like
appeal
an
to everybody.
alternative animated film. I don't know. It just kind of seems like
Yeah,
something you
yeah,
guys
yeah,
would
yeah.
both be into.
why'd you guys watch it?
Anna just wanted to. She's like, I don't know. She just was. We'd seen it. Actually, it's funny. Like we had in Halloween like a year or two ago. Like Stumptown Coffee was using Coraline as like for advertisement purposes, and so like that kind of put it into her head, and she's like, oh, I've always kind of wanted to watch it, whatever. And also now knowing that it was made in Oregon, it's like, oh, it makes sense that Stumptown was using it, because it was like somewhere else. It wasn't in Oregon. It was Stumptown somewhere else, but it's, Portland based. But anyways, hella good. Wow. I was shocked. Like I went into it not really caring because I didn't love the animation style. And I was kind of like, okay, whatever. I'll give it a shot. It was a really good movie. Like, wow.
Yeah,
I
for a
was
kids movie?
surprised. Yeah, I wouldn't call it a kids movie.
It's
I mean,
young
yeah, I guess
adult
it's
or
kind of
something.
not. But everybody watches
Yeah.
it as a kid, or a lot of people do.
I
Probably
haven't
because
seen
it's
it until-
animated. I don't know, where they just assume maybe parents are like, "Oh, here's an animated movie for you." I don't know.
I will say,
Yeah,
like, that kind
um,
of animation style, I was not really into it as a kid, but like I can appreciate it a
mhm.
lot more, enough to where I actually like it, as
Yes.
an adult.
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely appreciate it a lot more. I would have not given the movie a chance, even in high school. But now I definitely appreciate it more, and and it was a really well done movie. I was shocked. So
Yeah.
that was really good. And then I've been watching a show that I am going to try not to overhype because not because I think it's great and you guys are gonna like go watch it and then be disappointed because I overhyped it, but because like I don't even know why I like this show so much. So it's called 100 Foot Wave, and it's it's a documentary series basically about big wave surfers, um, which I had no prior interest in surfing. Like, what's up?
Oh, my heater's on, and I don't know if you guys noticed, I got a door in my room, so and the thermostat is on this side of the door, so it will just keep on heating up and heating up and heating up inside the other room, and then yeah.
That's funny.
Some of the electrical engineering choices that get made are
That was a decision that
questionable.
was made when there was not a door, and the door wasn't
Ah, that
necessary.
tracks.
Yeah.
There's still a doorway though, like potential for a door.
Weird, because now there's a door there.
I know, I'm saying the fact that it got wired that way when it's like it's not like it was an empty like wall, like a whole wall was missing or something. It's like, oh, we don't expect there to be two separate rooms here.
Yeah, okay, so there was no stove or thermostat when I first moved in. We did that
Did you
ourselves.
say stove?
It's a pellet
Like a wood
stove.
stove? Oh, pellet stove. Okay.
Oh, wood pellet stove. Okay, yeah,
Yeah. Anywho, big waves.
yeah. Okay.
Surfs
I
up.
did not and still don't really care about surfing, but this is like it's surfing to a different degree. Like it's insane. So like when you think of surfing, you think of like Southern California, paddle out, and like a bunch of people out there like surfing. This is like almost you can't even compare it to that. Like there are surfing waves that are like 70, 80 feet tall. And the only way to do that is like it's a team effort basically. So like it's tow in surfing, which means you have to have a jet ski that pulls the person in and onto the wave. And that's one purpose for them, but the other purpose for them is to basically rescue the surfer. So like because I mean it's like these are insane waves that could easily knock people out, crush, break bones, like whatever. And so and then you have typically like a spotter up on the cliff that's helping to find good swells that are coming in, but also to help the jet ski locate the surfer after, the wave if something's happened. Anyway, so it's just about this guy's journey, Garrett McNamara, and like his somebody mentions these massive waves off the coast of Portugal that like nobody's ever tried to surf or anything. And so it's just about his journey over like I don't even know, at least 10 years of like going back there every season and surfing it, and like the sort of attention that he draws to it and the other surfers that go there from around the world and like their interactions with each other. It's just the way it's made. The filmography is stunning. The music is gorgeous. Like it's an incredible show just to watch. But then like it's really compelling. Like the way it's made is very compelling too. And just like watching these people where like they're typical surfers in the sense that like that is their sole passion in life. Like nothing else in their life compares to being on the wave, right? And so it's very interesting to see just these people in their lives, and I am absolutely hooked. I'm like in the middle of season 2 right now, and it's
What
incredible.
platform
So
is
I
this
would
on?
it's on HBO Max. The only reason started watching it was when we flew back for Christmas, and it was HBO was the only thing on the plane. I was like, okay. I was like, I've heard of 100 Foot Wave. I guess I'll try it. And I watched it the entire way there and the entire way back, just one episode after the other. And so, yeah, no, it's crazy good. Even if somebody doesn't like surfing, I would highly recommend giving it a chance because it's just, yeah, it's incredibly made. So that's my pitch.
Not on my bingo card for, what you'd be
Me.
recommending, but
Yeah, right.
Have you guys heard of or like ever seen anything about rogue waves though?
yeah.
Like
What does that mean?
so like out in the open ocean, not off the coast of something. There are occasionally massive waves that they're not sure what causes them. They're just called rogue waves because they just show up randomly. You can't predict them. We don't
not a
have a
tidal
lot that yeah, some that like but they don't really know what causes them. And they're just fascinating because they're massive and they just like seem to come out of nowhere and in random places around the globe. Like you don't know. And it's interesting because it's something that they've attributed like ships that would just randomly go missing in historically
Yeah.
where it'd be like it disappeared and we don't know what happened. Like we didn't have any we have no reason to think that there was any distress or something was wrong. And like they've wondered if okay, so maybe it's something like that. And so there are
Or
people that
aliens.
try to
Yeah.
or aliens, there's
Yeah,
always
so
that.
is this
But-
like, does this happen everywhere, or is this like a Bermuda Triangle thing?
No, it happens in other places too. That's what I'm saying. Like they just show up in random places and there's no way to predict when they're gonna happen. That's why we've only ever caught a few.
I was just gonna say, like, how do we really know? Like, people have just been like filming the ocean as they fly over it. Like, how do we know they happen at all?
I don't even know if it's probably not filming the ocean. I think it's like, other instruments that are coming into play because I don't
sure,
know. I
yeah,
mean, if you were filming it from top down, you probably wouldn't see anything anyway.
right,
like
right, yeah.
but yeah, it's pretty interesting. You should look it up. Like there's
Yeah, I will.
I've watched a few interesting like YouTube videos and stuff about it. Like it's pretty fascinating. Also terrifying.
Not if you're
'Cause
not
it's
sailing
like-
on the open ocean. It really isn't. That's why people always like, oh, I'm terrified of sharks. It's like, well, just don't go in the place where the sharks are. You'll be
Well,
fine.
I'm not saying terrifying as in like I'm personally worried because I'm constantly like sailing the seven seas or something, but like just kind of a terrifying thing that it's like there's no because you can't predict them. There's no like that they found. There's no here are the prerequisites. So if these things happen, we know we have to worry about it. Like with a tsunami or something where you're like, if there was an earthquake over here, we know we need to monitor tidal levels and stuff or whatever. It's like if they just happen, you have no like yeah, it's probably not going to be me that has to worry about it, but just I guess as a phenomenon it's kind of terrifying. Like one more thing to add to the ocean of just being like scary.
All right, well, Begonia. Have you guys heard of that one?
But
Say it again?
Yeah, Begonia. It's a movie with Emma Stone and a couple other people.
Oh,
don't
I have
remember.
heard of it. That's a recent one, right? That just
Yeah.
came out this year.
Yeah.
How is it? I
Well,
don't really know
last
anything
year,
about it.
But
Last year, sorry.
it.
I saw like a couple of movie posters for it, but that's all I've seen.
Oh, that's all you saw? I got exposed
Yeah, I
to
haven't
it
seen
from
the
a
trailer.
like a Facebook reel or whatever. And I almost kind of wish I didn't even watch that, but like that's what hooked me and wanted me or made me want to watch it. It is so good. I loved it. I can see how it wouldn't be everybody's cup of tea, but it's so good. I feel like I can give a little bit of what it's about without it being like a complete spoiler, but it's about two like conspiracy theorists who kidnap a CEO because they think that she's an alien, and then they like try to get the truth out of her.
Interesting. I'd watch it.
Yeah.
I think Emma Stone's
Yeah.
pretty solid too. So
Oh,
Yeah.
and she does a really good job in this movie. Like it's a really good movie. It's like one that I don't even know if I want to cover it in the podcast because I just want you guys like I want everybody to watch it as soon as possible. I don't want to wait 2 months for my turn to pick whatever movie,
right.
but I will.
It could be an
Six.
informal discussion if we all watch it.
Yeah. It's super good. Fallout, been watching that.
Oh, the show. Yeah.
Yeah, it's alright.
Yeah, I know. Right. I didn't watch it, but I have so little faith in adaptations these days.
As far as like that's the thing though. The bar is so low that it's a really good adaptation because the bar is so low.
Yeah, we have talked about how pathetically low the video game adaptation levels are. So
Yeah.
that's true.
Other than that, I don't know. Not off the top of my head.
Aaron, what's the best video game adaptation you can think of off the top of your head?
Gran Turismo was pretty good. I remember liking that.
Oh yeah, Reagan was telling me to watch that. I haven't seen it yet.
It was a movie that was like playing on my family's big screen when I walked through the house.
That's
and
kind
I ended
of-
up sitting down and watching it.
Is that really an adaptation as much as it is just using an IP and making, because it's like there's no story,
yeah,
there's
right.
no characters.
Okay, so it is based on a true story though. This
Oh, right,
kid-
about the kid that was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, he was a
okay,
professional,
well
like-
that's
Gran Turismo
Yeah.
player.
right.
Yeah, so
Hmm.
I guess it wouldn't count as because it's not like a fictional
Right.
setting. Like um, yeah, I don't know off the top of my head. I don't know.
I can think of a lot of bad ones.
Sure. Most of them.
Yeah.
I can't even think of bad ones off the top of my head. Maybe Tomb Raider, I guess.
Bro.
There's another
Um,
Tomb Raider being made. Did you guys see that?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, with
Another one.
who's playing her
the
now?
lady from
the-
Game of
She from
Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Sophie Turner.
What's her name?
Right.
Sophie Turner. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's not a great. Like, she's not awful, but like she's not a
She's
very
actually not that good of an
memorable
actress. I didn't like her in Game of
Yeah.
Thrones. I didn't like her in X-Men. I don't know
Yeah,
if I've seen her in
I
anything
don't
else,
know.
but I didn't find her to be very good in either of those. to be
That
honest.
in and of itself makes me think like, it's probably not going to be a good adaptation. But then also the fact that just like the last few attempts at adapting Tomb Raider have also
The
not been
previous one was
awesome.
actually not that bad. Not the what's her face ones from the early aughts, but the one with
Angelina Jolie.
yeah, not her.
Alicia Vikander, right?
Alicia
She was
Vikander.
the-
Yeah. That one
I don't
wasn't
even
bad. It
know
was
what
very
you guys
safe.
are
Like
talking about.
that movie was very safe. Like it didn't take any risks. It didn't do anything interesting. It had a very generic storyline. But it was fine. Like it was better than like Uncharted or something.
Sure, but I guess since then there's been like an animated one that was done that apparently like totally. I haven't seen it. I
I
have
don't
no
know
interest
about
in watching it, but apparently just totally like what happens with a lot of adaptations, is where they basically just want to take the world and the characters and write their own story instead of, and they're just using an existing IP so that people will watch it rather than having any kind of respect for whatever the original
Well, you have to
intent
walk a line
is.
because
So-
if you have like a story-based game and you're going to adapt it to a film, in some ways you want to stay true to the story, but in other ways you want to not have audiences know, every single thing that's going to happen in the film.
That's
from the
not what I
onset.
mean. That's not what I mean. But it's like, again, it's like you can tell when the person writing a story, whether it's a video game adaptation or they're basing it on a book or a comic book character, whoever, you can tell when they genuinely have like respect and interest in the or existing, like whoever the original character is or the original work. And like, yeah, that doesn't mean you have to tell the exact same story so that every audience is going to know like beat for beat what's going to happen. But you can tell when the intent is coming from a place of like, we care about this character, we care about this world, and we want to do a respectful job, telling a story with these characters in this world that feels true to the intent of like whoever wrote this character.
Yeah, instead of
even
a
if it's
cash
not a
grab.
story that's been told. Yeah, instead of it being like, well, because with a lot of Hollywood stuff, it just feels like, well, we're too scared to try something totally new because what if people don't come watch it because they've never heard of the character? So instead, they have stories that they want to tell or like characters that they want to write that make no sense for the character in the world that they pick, but they're too afraid to do something new. And so instead they just go, well, this has brand recognition, this has name recognition, we'll just use this and just tell a story that makes no sense for any of this stuff. And then people who actually like that character or that world walk away feeling like that was terrible, like that none of that made sense for who this person is or this world or whatever the situation is. And so yeah, That's what I'm saying, is like there was an animated one that I guess was pretty awful. Like, just, it's like you should have just written
The problem
a brand
is
new character.
with a lot of IPs, if the people making it just try and cater to like their most IPs, like the people that are already familiar with it before they go to see it are going to be a small percentage of the people that actually watch the film, right? And so when you're part of a fan base, it's easy to be like offended that they didn't do a good job, like they didn't, pay respect to the certain things that you think they should have and whatever. But from the creator's perspective, they're like, okay, yeah, people love Lara Croft, but that's like 1% of the amount of people that we want to get into the movie theater. So like, what do we cut and what do we add to make this appeal to a lot more people than just the fan base? Because if we make a movie for the fan base, we're just going to lose money, right? And so you have to walk a fine line. And I'm not saying like there have been bad adaptations.
But I think that's part of the problem, is that they only, like, again, this goes back to like a lot of people talking about the death of the mid-budget movie, where it's like, it used to not be as big of a deal because it was like, well, if you only spend a few $1 million making the movie, you don't need it to bring in $1 billion. It doesn't have to make a ton of money for you to be successful. And so then it doesn't matter if it doesn't appeal to 50, 60, 70% of the population, because you don't need that many people to go see the movie. When every movie costs $200-300 million to make, well, now you have to make like $700-800 million, if not $1 billion, just to break even sometimes. And that's the problem, is that everything's like now, even if it doesn't feel like a blockbuster movie, everything has like blockbuster budgets. And then it is a problem when it's like, well, now you're trying to take something that should have just been made for a niche audience sometimes, and you're trying to make it widely appealing. And it doesn't work because the people who actually like it have no interest in seeing it because it doesn't feel like a character that they want to see because they care about the original. And it might be something that it's like, well, all of these other people you're trying to appeal to with this also have no interest because it's like a genre or a type of character that they're like, nah, there's a reason they don't already play the games or haven't watched previous adaptations. And so then you end up with an issue where they're trying to make it widely appealing. They spend a ton of money, and then they need to make a ton of money in order for it to be successful. And it's like, if your movie only costs $10 million to make, you don't have to make a ton of money. It doesn't matter if it doesn't get seen by every person, in the US and China. Like, it's not a big deal then. But the problem is when everything has a massive budget, which I know there are still smaller movies, but there's definitely not as many as there used to be. Now it's like, again, like they want everything to just be a really safe bet where they feel like, oh, everyone and their grandma's going to come see this movie. And it's like, that's not a good way to make films. That's why you have so many less good movies, because you're trying to make everything like a 4-quadrant movie instead of making it for specific interests and genres and specific demographics.
So there's a movie that's pretty relevant to this conversation that's out right now. Have you guys heard of Iron Lung?
Yeah. I've heard of it. I don't know what it is.
Markiplier's movie.
So, yeah, Markiplier, YouTuber. He played a game way back in the day for us. It was like a really small video game, Iron Lung. It's like a horror game that probably takes like 40 minutes to experience, I guess. And yeah, he liked it so much that he's been trying to make a movie out of it, and obviously succeeded with that. And I hear that's pretty good. It's pretty good adaptation, almost like a 1-to-1 of what it would be like to play the game.
Mm-hmm. I think it's been decently successful too. I don't know the numbers, but I think it's been a commercial success.
Budget $3 million, and it's made $18 million. So I'd say so.
Right. Right, that is, but definitely at that point, they say double whatever the budget is to account for marketing and stuff, and so it needs to make at least twice its budget to break even is usually the rule of thumb. Isn't that part of the budget? No. What gets given as yeah.
Yikes.
But that's the rule of thumb, is that a movie needs to make double whatever the named budget is to break even, and then anything on top of that is profits. So yeah, I mean, if you only spent $3 million and it's made 18, that's really good. But again, it's like there should be more movies like that, especially because then
passion projects, because
they're passion projects, and they generally are really good because the people involved are not just corporate, like, oh, Hollywood just hired a random director and went, here, make this movie. And like you hear in so many interviews from these people sometimes, like, I mean, you remember back when Ryan Johnson made his Star Wars movie and he was like, yeah, I didn't like Star Wars, I don't like it. And it's like, then why are you making a Star Wars movie? You are the wrong person. Somebody should have at least a passing interest in this if they're going to direct a film. Why are we hiring
wanted
somebody?
a fresh perspective,
It was
Karina.
pretty clear.
He wanted to subvert expectations.
I heard something about that getting
But-
retconned.
I've heard that too. I don't know how much truth there is, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't care because it's yeah,
Star Wars is dead.
yeah.
The only good
No,
Star
it's
Wars
not.
is
Andor season 2 or Andor season 1 and 2.
okay.
I'm just
Okay,
saying-
outside of
I'm
Andor,
just saying,
then
hot take. You haven't seen it, so you don't know. I'm just saying.
I know that is the one thing people
Andor
have actually
is
enjoyed.
probably, depending on your perspective of the prequel trilogy, Andor is probably the best Star Wars content since the original trilogy.
Also,
Better than Rogue One.
better than
Episode
Rogue One?
7.
That's crazy. Rogue One was
Yeah.
pretty good. But that's the issue in like the new era of Star Wars is the fact that like there's so much slop that you have to, navigate through and filter out. Like I feel like before when it was just the prequels and maybe like Clone Wars, which I've never seen, but I hear that people love that.
It's good.
For you to like consume all of the Star Wars media, like you might see a couple bad eggs, but for the most part, it's all going to be a pretty enjoyable experience. And now, like, I don't know, 50-50?
I don't know.
70-30?
That.
Yeah,
That's generous. Yeah.
right? So, fun fact
Right,
about
and then
Iron
that's a-
Lung. Most blood used in a movie.
I've heard that
Okay.
too. Yeah.
That's a fun fact. Come on. That's a fun fact.
Nice. But that's the problem, is what you're saying, is like there's so much slop that you have to wade through that then, like, I maybe I will go back and watch Andor because Nate is recommending it, but it's like I wasn't even interested in watching it because there was so much crap that had come out before then
course.
that
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
why would I waste my
I
time?
went in so skeptical because I was like, people were saying it was good, and I was like, yeah, but you all say that other Star Wars stuff is good, and it isn't. So like, why would I? But enough people were saying it was good and that I should watch it that I finally did, and tried to go in with an open mind. Which I'm gonna be honest, I didn't. I went in wanting to not like it, and it's the
okay,
best
so that's
Star Wars
encouraging if you
content.
went in.
Yeah, that's the best experience.
I like Revenge of the Sith. I like Revenge of the Sith a lot. I think I might like Revenge of the Sith more, even though it has its cringy moments. But apart from that, it's the best Star Wars content since
There's
the original
Star Wars
films.
moments, though. Like,
Right.
quintessentially Star Wars. Star Wars is cringe. Like, it's Woody dialogue with really cool special effects.
George
and,
Lucas cannot write dialogue. We all know this. We've known
but
this
like,
since day one.
but it's also good dialogue. Like,
And again, the point of the story, like, there's enough other good things about the story that, like, you can look past how poorly written some of the dialogue is. And, like, yes, that doesn't mean that it's not something that
Are we
you can
talking about
laugh
prequel
at.
trilogy or original trilogy?
Prequel.
Okay.
I guess both.
Because yeah, even the original trilogy.
The prequels
doesn't
are
have
worse.
Great dialogue.
The prequels are worse, though, because he had more, like, or not creative freedom, but just, like, freedom to get to dictate things at that point.
More
And
slavery
so
too.
politics.
there were less people telling him, no, maybe we shouldn't do it that way. But yeah, but again, like, it still has Star Wars moments, still feel it's Star Wars, because again, it's still like the guy who actually invented it in his own head versus a corporation that tried to come in and whatever. I don't know. I'm just saying it's still his product though versus Disney's, which is not his product, and they didn't consult with him on anything, and they had a bunch of his additional notes and things that he had written up for potential future stuff, and they just tossed it all out and went,
Yeah.
now we'll do our own thing. And then it was like, cool, well now none of this feels like Star Wars except maybe Rogue One and Andor.
Which even then, I don't know, Rogue One, it feels like a Star Wars story, which is what it is. But it doesn't feel like the 6 movies. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like the saga.
In a lot of ways, Andor doesn't feel like, it's not like watching old classic Star Wars either. Like
I imagine
it
feels
has
like
a very
Rogue One,
different
the
vibe
show.
to it. Not even really, like, because after I watched Andor, I went back and watched Rogue One because obviously they connect, and watching Rogue One, I was like, man, this isn't as good as I remember it being. And they have like, it's so tonally different from the show that they really aren't comparable.
Okay.
But Andor almost doesn't feel like Star Wars, and that's part of why it's great. Like there's no Jedi farting around. There's none of that. It's very much like the dark underbelly of the Star Wars universe. There's a lot of on-screen killing. There's a lot of espionage. Like the plot is much more intricate. Like it's a very different experience. And so if you go in expecting this to be like harkening back to like the original trilogy, it's not like that at all. It's completely and utterly different, but it's fantastic. It's very well made. So, yeah. Anyways, we should talk about our movie this week.
Yeah.
This quarter.
Hopefully we're gonna get back on a regular schedule.
Go ahead, Karina. This was your pick.
Okay, yeah. So it's a 2024 Netflix movie. What's Inside. Directed and written by Greg Jordan, I think is what I wrote down. Just because we usually forget to put that in there, so I'm throwing it out.
No, it's valid.
And basically the premise is that a group of friends from college reconnect to have one last get together before one of them gets married, and a member of the group, Forbes, who they didn't think was going to show up, ends up showing up. He brings a gadget piece of tech thing with him that he says him and his team in like Silicon Valley have been working on, and it allows them to swap their minds into different bodies. And so do you want me to like go ahead and just spoil the
I don't know,
twist?
you're the pro.
Give it. I don't know. I'm just asking how much you guys want to talk about that, or if you want, I'll just put it in there.
Remember that last time?
So it starts out just as like a simple game of, hey, let's guess who's in whose body. And then when we're done, we all switch back, and then we'll switch again and do it a different way, and try to guess again. But the second round that they play, two of the people attending end up falling off the roof and dying. But they're trapped in other people's bodies. So then it becomes a situation where some of the people want to make everybody switch back, other people don't want to switch back into, and then there's the dilemma of you've got people that literally can't go back into their bodies because their bodies are dead, and they have to figure out how to handle that. So that's basically the plot.
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting discussion, because this movie has more body switching than it has a slew of unforgettable names for the most part, and an incredible amount of body switching. So, yeah, we'll see how confusing this discussion is.
Do you want me to give like who each character is? Is that helpful, or you think that's just more confusing?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, to make a movie like this, you need to have a decent amount of characters for it to be
At
interesting
least
with the
6.
premise, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, think about like playing, well, for example, a game of Werewolf. Like if you're playing with like an optimal player count is going to be like 8 to 10, right?
Wait, what's
like
Werewolf?
Enough people to like.
It's like Mafia.
It's basically just Mafia.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Karina, is that part of why you picked this? Because of that premise of like it being kind of based on Werewolf, and that's something that was formulative in the three of ours relationship, kind of.
Never played it, but
Oh, sorry, what, Aaron?
I said never played it.
We played Mafia all the time.
Yeah, Mafia. I never played Werewolf.
Werewolf is basically the same thing. You just name characters have different names. Like,
Okay, well that sounds cool.
instead
I
of the
wish that's what we
Mafia, you
played.
have a werewolf that kills people. Like,
that
it's
sounds
just
cool. I wish that's what we played.
all right. Well, next time we get
Anyways.
together,
Okay.
we'll play it that way.
It was
I
pretty
do
cool
have
to
to say-
see. Or go ahead.
I do have to say that when was it? Winter of 2023. Anna and I were staying in a house in England. There were like 10 or 12 other people there, and it was a weird vibe. But we played like we were all just like working. There was a volunteering situation, so we were all just like working on this farm. And then in the evenings, we would all come in, and I kid you not, almost every evening we would all just play werewolf for like a couple of hours. But they had like a box set of like the actual werewolf game, and there were like you have your werewolves, which is like the mafia, right? They're the ones that wake up in the night and kill people and then go back to sleep. And you have like a couple other roles that are similar, but then there were probably like 50 other roles in this game. And so you didn't have any just villagers. Like you didn't have any just like people that weren't doing anything. They were just voting. Every single person had a role, and there were crazy things that would mess with the mind games in it. Like, there was a person that could copy another person's ability. There were two people that at the beginning of the game, they would wake up and see each other, and they were win together, lose together. They didn't know what the other person's identity was. They just like, if that person's dies, you automatically die. And so then you have like all these different roles create all these different allegiances that are unspoken, right? And so it instead of it just being about like the story at the end and then we just vote on someone and nobody has any idea, it's like there's so many different facets to every decision and every interaction. And yeah, it was very, very incredible. A lot of fun. So yeah, that's
Okay,
the
I want to
actual
play that
werewolf
version.
game is incredible.
Yeah, the only version of Werewolf I've ever played is just where people call it Werewolf and they just name the characters different essentially, and that's it. So I want to play that. That sounds fun.
It's so much
Yeah,
fun.
that sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's great.
But it does seem like you'd need a big group too.
Oh, you
Like-
do,
like you
yeah.
said, like 10, 12 people at least for it to
Yeah.
be. Yeah, so anyway, yes, I think that's a part of it is it's like that's such a like a core memory of like our friendship, like going all the way back, you know, to like being what, like 13 years old or something, 14. So that's definitely a part of it. I think that that's kind of a cool element, but also just because of like, I mean, some of the reason I just picked it is because psychologically it's such an interesting movie. I don't know if you wanted to get into that stuff yet, or if you want to talk more about the actual like plot stuff of the movie.
We can talk
Before.
about whatever. What do you guys think about the way that the plot is handled? Like do you guys feel like it did justice to, like, do you feel like they did, taking the premise that they had, do you feel like they did a good job creating an interesting story out of it? Or, I don't know, what did you think about the way that they handled the plot and the body switching and all that stuff?
I really liked it. I think they gave a little bit of room for you to, play who done it and who's who, but also they
Yeah.
don't, for the, Neanderthals amongst you, they, make it pretty obvious too. Like, I think that they make the actors play the other people well, you know what I mean? Like the mannerisms that they do. I've seen it 3 times now, so like I notice every dude. I notice every, time that Ruben or whatever his character's name is staring at the one chick.
Yeah,
I don't remember
Maya.
any of these people's
Yeah.
name. Maya, yeah. Um, yeah, so I think they do a good job with that. And the editing, I really like the way that they do that with the red filter, and yeah, I think they did a good job.
Yeah, I liked that if you're gonna do a if you're gonna do a body switching movie, you might as like that they decided to put people in a significant like ethical quandary. Like not just we switched a little bit and like people kissed other people or had sex with other people or something, but like legitimately taking it to the extreme of like people died while not in their bodies, and now we have to deal with the ramifications of that, and like how do you even sort that mess out? So I appreciate that, like that they decided to take it to that extreme. And then I thought it was kind of fun also having the little bit of a twist at the end of like, oh, actually it was Beatrice the whole time and not Forbes like they thought it was.
It makes the
Although
second
I
watch
love-
really rewarding. Watching
Yeah, I
it from
bet.
that perspective,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
I do love the fact that they made Forbes like a very alien look or reptile looking tech bro guy. Like he's such a Mark Zuckerberg.
I was just saying, I watched the movie last night with my younger brother Jason, and he was like, "Is that is that Mark Zuckerberg? Like, really
You're like,
made
is that
comment.
supposed to be him?
He's got those dead eyes.
Yeah. No, but they picked the perfect actor for that role because like
They really did.
like he looks awkward. He's not conventionally attractive in any way. He's he looks
And he's got weird
soulless.
mannerisms.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
quirky. He like is always like smiling a little awkwardly or making too much like eye contact. Like he just seems a little weird, right? And it's perfect for that kind of person. So,
Yeah.
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 which
What about
no
you,
hate.
Nate?
I mean, they're people too. Just because they're on the autism spectrum, you know, like, that's fine.
Well, okay.
But I don't know. In some ways, it feels like a missed opportunity to me. I feel like it could have been. There could have been more. They went one direction with it. I think I wanted to just watch the film. I mean, I didn't know anything about it, and once I realized what we were doing, we're like, okay, we're entering a game of werewolf. This is interesting. I wanted there to be just a murder. I wanted it to be more of a whodunit in like the sense that like somebody straight up killed someone else, and then it would turn and maybe go into a bit more of like a thriller horror angle. You still get a little bit of that because two people accidentally die. And so then you go into like the ethical quandary of like, okay, we're going to switch back, but how do we switch when two people's bodies are gone, but not those consciousnesses are gone? So like who goes where? And then of course the depravity starts to show too, where you've got like the one guy calling the cops saying that confessing as the person's body that he's in, that he murdered these two people and hanging up. And it's like, you know, like things escalate very quickly towards the end, and you just see how selfish and pretty terrible pretty
All
much
of them?
everyone in this movie is. I mean, the only person who really got screwed is Beatrice, right? I mean, she's the only one that really seems like the victim. Maybe Shelby
what?
a little bit, but she's also very...
Beatrice, the one that kidnapped her brother's
Beatrice,
body
the
and then
one-
drove to
the
this
one
place
that-
impersonating
Beatrice,
him.
the one that was taken advantage of and then framed and made it seem like she was insane and put into a psychiatric ward or whatever, and is just pissed
Except
at
for
everyone
the-
and is getting her
So
due
I would
justice.
gladly do that. I would gladly do that if that meant that, you know, in a few years' time I would get $2.5 million and, you know, a super large following on social media. Worth it.
But no, that's Shelby though. That's not Beatrice.
No, Beatrice is the sister.
Yeah, but Beatrice isn't in Nikki's body. Isn't the one in Nikki's body
No,
the one? Oh no,
at
that
the-
is Beatrice.
yeah,
Never
at
mind,
the end of
sorry.
At the end, it's
Yeah.
Beatrice.
Yeah, Shelby is in her own body at the end. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say that Beatrice isn't a victim at all, but it's also like they do show you that she did have a history of like psychological breakdowns before that, and that this just
Wait,
triggered
did she?
another
I don't
one that
remember
was.
that. Like
Yeah.
what?
I don't remember the details of what they say. I don't know that they get into it like a whole lot, but they just say that like she'd had episodes before, and then that all of the stuff that went down around Dennis, right?
Yeah.
That
the fuckboy,
triggered
yeah.
another, yeah, that triggered a more severe one, and then that's why she was institutionalized. But she did have a history before that. They talk about she's had episodes before.
Okay.
So I don't
I
know that
forgot
it's like
that because-
she was so like upset by this that it prompted something she'd never dealt with before, like a psychiatric break. She'd already had them, so she was already like, doesn't mean she's
forgot-
not a victim at all, but I do think that makes
Yeah.
her less sympathetic.
Well, yeah,
Wouldn't that make it
victim.
more
That becomes an
sympathetic? What?
interesting. Well, but
Because she's mentally, you know,
yeah,
not
yeah.
challenged. There's a
That was
different
something
word.
that was something that I missed, I guess, that or forgot that she had prior episodes, because I was like, it seems like it goes really fast. Like, okay, they said she was making stuff up at a party, and now she's in a like mental hospital. Like, that's a quick jump. Like, okay, movie. But I guess I had forgotten or just straight up missed that there were previous episodes that was being kind of predicated on.
Yeah, because it says something like they mention that she's had previous, I guess, like psychiatric episodes. And then they talk about the events of the party and all of that. And then they say that people were blaming it on like not her breakdown, but like what she was saying, they were blaming that on her having another breakdown, and then they said it so much that it caused another one, even though that wasn't actually, she wasn't lying, you know, of like we're shown, but they were blaming it on like, oh well, she's got a history of this, she's just having another episode, and then that caused an episode. So she is still a victim in that sense, for sure. Like, I don't want to completely take that away, but also you are shown from the beginning that she is somebody with a history of mental instability. So I don't think that she's as sympathetic as like you were initially trying to say that she is. I think that she has sympathetic elements, but she's also still kind of a crazy person sometimes. So I don't think that it's like, oh, poor her the whole time. Like, she clearly went and got revenge on these people and does not care what happened. Like,
but I think it's kind of justified, is what I'm saying. Like, and she didn't go there to.
She didn't go to there.
She didn't go there to
like,
kill anybody. She didn't go there to like do anything like that. She was just like, these people, like these people all like kind of stabbed me in the back and didn't care, and I'm gonna go there and make their life. I'm gonna go mess up their lives, basically. Like, I'm gonna go give them a taste of their own medicine, kind of a thing.
I don't think
right.
she's too
although
remorseful either, though, about
although that's a crazy way to get revenge. Like, to be like, I'm gonna make it so that somebody doesn't get to live their life in their own body anymore. Like, that's a wild piece of revenge versus just like stealing money from someone, which she does. But like, I feel like those are kind of in two different
in
camps
a way.
of,
What
like,
you just
the
said
way
was
to inflict.
really poetic, though, because they drugged her at the psychiatric ward. Like, she didn't get to live her life inside of her body either. Obviously,
Interesting.
at a different level, but
yeah, but that's still different than somebody physically removing your consciousness
right. That's why I
from
said
your
different
actual
level,
body. Yeah.
I don't think that she's too remorseful about that. Obviously, like
Well,
a
it's,
psychopath or whatever.
Maybe it's like a coping mechanism. Like, she went through that, and now she's doing like exposure therapy, like you know, going full board. Just like, all right, this is all I know. Now I'm just gonna go live in someone else's body. But I don't know if that was her plan the whole time. Like, I think getting the money definitely was hijacking Nikki's body and life, like, her goal the whole time.
I'm not saying that she came in there with
so.
it premeditated necessarily. Just that, like, the fact that she then went to that level still of being like, she's already stolen one person's body, now she's gonna steal another person's and inflict this. Like, again, it's one thing that she's done it once, and it's like, now you're just creating like a domino effect of like, now you're like, things are even more mixed up. Like, people like, and these people, unless they catch you and get this piece of equipment back.
What do you think her thoughts were when so it was Ruben and Maya's bodies, but it was Dennis and Brooke's consciousnesses that died?
Yes.
Is that correct? What do you think,
yes,
from Beatrice's perspective, what do you think, how do you envision her handling that when it happens? Because she didn't orchestrate that. So from her perspective, what do you think her reaction was to that internally?
I guess panic, had to get out of there, which she tries to do.
Yeah,
I don't think she really cared that they died, just that, oh shit, I gotta go now. And I don't think she wanted to be stuck in a boy's body either. I assume. I don't know.
Well,
yeah, I don't know.
Stuck in
About
her
that.
brother's body. Or Ruben's. I guess she was in Ruben's the second time.
Yeah, when she tried to escape. And at any point she can
that's
skip
another
bodies again and again and again.
Right, exactly. That's another weird thing about this movie is that I think, especially since your first time watching it, you don't know that it's Beatrice, you think it's Forbes. I don't think there's ever a guy in a girl's body or vice versa, which is kind of odd.
She's the only one. Yeah, and you don't realize that until the end. So,
yeah,
other than that, she only switches girls into girls and guys into guys.
Why is that? Like, why did we do that movie is what I'm wondering. Like, that feels like an intentional decision, you know? Maybe it's not significant, but I'm wondering why.
I think it might add
Is
to
it because
the love triangles and the drama that,
or maybe it would detract. Maybe it would detract from it. I don't know. Like, because like they definitely wanted to set up that these people have had varying interests in each other as a group, like romantically over the years. And maybe they felt like it would complicate it or make it like harder to follow what was going on if they had guys and girls swapped into each other's bodies. Because then, I don't know, because like they're also showing you who it actually is and then which body they're in. And so maybe they thought that, you know, like, I don't know, maybe they just thought it would add too much complication. Like it was easier to be like, okay, this is, you know, this is Cyrus in this body and this is whoever, but she's in Nikki's body and he's always been interested in Nikki. So now we get to see that, like, even though he's acting through a different physical body, he's still projecting that interest, as he can do so kind of more like anonymously now. Versus if it was like, I don't know, if it was switched, maybe it would just be more complicated. I don't know. I don't know why it's, I mean, I noticed that, but I'm not sure how important it is to the plot.
I might have a theory that they really wanted to lean hard into the who's interested in whom aspect, and they felt like introducing the homosexual angle into that would just complicate it too much. I'm not sure. Like, if you have,
because everybody there is straight, or at least as far as we know. I mean,
right? Sure.
Yeah, there's nobody who's openly gay or anything like that.
Yeah,
that
so
they
if you have like a guy
mention.
switch to a guy's body and then a lady who has a love interest with that guy switching to another guy's body, I don't think that guy would probably want to. That we know.
But
Yeah.
see, that
Like,
could
maybe
have made it
there's-
more interesting, right?
It could have, but I also think it probably, like you're saying, it probably would have also prevented there from being some of the interactions that happen, because like if none of them are gay or like bi or, you know, just even like curious, like bi-curious or something like that, then yeah, like, you know, if it's the person who's looking at the other person's body and being like, oh, you know, like I'm a girl and that's a guy I was interested in, I want to pursue something, but she's in a guy's body. Like like Aaron's saying, he probably wouldn't be receptive to that at all. And so then it would maybe eliminate some of those interactions that happen that they really wanted to have happen to, you know, create the drama.
Also, if, let's say we, as a group of friends, we all did this, we wouldn't do that, right? Doing
That's
the
what. So to me, this feels.
gender switching.
I don't know. Why not? Like, especially if you're playing a game of werewolf, like trying to guess who's whom, like that makes it easier. If you're like, well, you have to stay in your own body or stay with your own gender. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Like, that's
guess.
not
Well,
true
again, I
random.
think it probably depends on the dynamics of your friend group too, because if you have a friend group where you know that like nobody else is romantically interested in each other, then you probably don't have to worry about it. Like you could be like, yeah, we can switch anybody into anybody's body and
isn't
it's
that
not
the
going to
whole
matter because
point,
we're just
is that
using it
they
to play
don't
Mafia. Well, okay, they may not know as a group like everybody,
Right.
but definitely individually, like there's like some of them have dated before or tried to date and things like that. And some people have, and like there were people that knew that some people, who was it, that Ruben and Maya or something had always been interested in each other, even if they'd never officially dated. So like that was also knowledge within this group. So I do think that changes things, because then it's like, if you I don't know, you may not, again, like if you know those things about your friend group, that may alter how you decide to switch those bodies, versus if you're like, yeah, nobody's aware of any like pre-existing romantic interests, we can switch anybody because we're just playing werewolf.
I do have to say, I love the idea of it, and I think it would be incredibly fun. If not, maybe have some psychological scars just from doing it. But the concept would be a lot of fun. I don't know. It would kind
Yeah.
of mess you up, though, I think.
Also, though, what I was thinking is like, as fun as it is in theory, You absolutely would not want to play this with a group of people you did not trust.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, definitely
Like,
not. Yeah.
like, like not. You could not play it with as casual of a group of friends as this people are.
There are very few people in my life which, if they open a briefcase with electronic equipment inside and hand me electrodes to put onto my temple, that I'm actually going to do it. Very
I
few.
better
Yeah.
be on that list. I better be. Yeah,
Depends
I
on who
would
else
do
is
it.
in the room too. Like
Yeah,
you
I
said,
know,
like I
yeah.
wouldn't do this with a
There's-
group of people I don't truly trust.
Right. And that's what's crazy is it's like the fact that again, like psychologically that people would be like, yeah, I'll do this with a group of people that I only talk to or see like once every few years and I don't have close relationships with them anymore and I potentially have some unresolved issues with some of these people or something. It's like I wouldn't want to be, I don't know, there are probably some people I would play this game with. But yeah, like I'd be so selective about who that group of people was. I wouldn't just be like, yeah, I'm down, or like Forbes talking about how he plays it with his coworkers. It's like I don't think I would just do that. Like
Yeah.
that's you're giving somebody a lot of
You're being very
I don't know.
vulnerable.
yeah, vulnerable and I don't know. It just sounds scary if it was somebody that you didn't know that you could trust them like implicitly.
Now, in concept, this is like definitely doable, like through VR technology, right? Like you could recreate this sort of experience through VR, where you've created everybody's bodies in a digital space, and then you get put into other people's bodies. But that, obviously, for a film, the stakes would be so low that would be incredibly uninteresting. That's probably the closest we can get to right now. Transferring consciousness through that equipment he has there seems
Dubious.
incredibly unlikely.
Yeah.
But I definitely see us heading in that direction, I don't know how far away we are from something that intense, but it's very interesting in both form and function, in theory.
I don't even know if you could actually do it within people's living bodies like that they were born into. Just because I think some of that stuff isn't it it's more than just like an awareness.
Well, we
Like
don't
some of that
actually
stuff is
know.
part of your I think I would assume that some of that stuff is like
A
a
hardware
part of
thing?
your actual biology and that you wouldn't be able to just remove it and put it in somebody else's. So like maybe to some extent, but I feel like then you'd end up with one of those situations that I don't know, not I should say one of those situations, but more like a situation like where it's almost like people sharing a consciousness because I feel like you wouldn't be able to fully remove one person's to put in somebody else's if it's not an artificial one that you've created kind of blank for the purpose of putting a consciousness into. If that makes sense.
Sure. Well, that's where things get interesting, right? Where you have like habits and a muscle memory and well, I actually like in reality, this would probably be very comedic if you did this with everybody's consciousnesses and swapped them around because nobody would. My brain and Karina's body, it would take me a while to figure out how to use her body because I'm used to my own, right? Everything about like, yes, we have all the same limbs and appendages for the most part, but like actually how like her strength and her coordination and her size and like everything would take getting used to. Like you're not just gonna you wouldn't be able to use it like your own body immediately. There would be a long
Even
learning
something
process.
even something like my eyesight because I wear glasses for
Yeah.
things and you don't. You'd have to adjust it like like I've adjusted. I don't wear my glasses all the time and like I just know that sometimes it's like I just don't see things as well and for me that's like resting, that's normal. For you you'd probably be like I can't see.
Right.
Why is everything fuzzy?
Yeah.
Stuff
Hey, it
like
would solve
grabbing
the
a door handle because you guys are like so different in height.
yeah. Or even just holding something, right? Like I don't know Karina's strength. Like I know my own strength. I know exactly how much pressure to apply to pick up a glass. And with Karina's, like all of that muscle memory and habit and everything is attached to your physiology, not to somebody else's. So, and yeah.
I feel like with this movie, you have to have like, I don't know what the term is, suspended disbelief or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah, suspension of disbelief.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm. Well, because it's science fiction, yeah.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
and just you can't worry about the details too much because it's just
But it's
out there.
interesting.
Which I'm not. I wasn't worried
I'm
about
not
him
saying
during
it
the
breaks
movie.
the movie.
Yeah.
There are other things
Yeah,
that
yeah,
do
yeah.
that. I'm just saying it's interesting to.
But thinking about that, yeah, like at what point, like, how much of the person's being can you scrape off and then put into somebody else and still, feel like you got you moved into somebody else's brain? What if you moved the motor
It would-
functions too? What if I don't know.
Right, like Nate said, they're kind of treating this almost like it is a VR scenario where it's like literally everything about you is going to transfer, and like the body you're moving into or out of just becomes a completely empty vessel for something else to fill, where all of your coordination, all of your memories, all of your habits, everything, literally all of that goes with you if you move into a different body, and none of it remains behind. That's how they're treating it.
Sort of, because
Which I can kind of, I guess, sort of. I guess
Shelby
they left like
switches
the
to
peanut
body and
allergy.
the peanut allergy, when Shelby switches to the girl with the red and black hair, she is immediately stoned.
Right.
And
Yep.
one interesting thing about that, in the
But I
beginning,
guess those are things that have nothing to do with like the brain. Those are things you're doing that have,
Physiological, yeah.
they're physiological things.
Physiological,
Yeah.
well, yeah, but like being stoned, that's
I guess
going
it
to,
affects your brain.
yeah. Not only that, but
Ooh,
so,
but does it affect your consciousness, or does it affect just the neural connections in your brain?
I think it
which
just
are
affects
physical?
the neural things, right? Like it's
Right.
not affecting your
So the
consciousness.
body
I
is
think everything
stoned, not
affects
the
your
consciousness. Yes, but then
To
if
a
you pull
certain
that
degree.
consciousness out and put it somewhere else, the being, the state of being
Right.
high, being stoned, is in the body still.
yes, I think that would have some momentum, though.
I think the body that comes out. So you take Brooke. So Brooke's stoned. You take her consciousness out, put it in another body. I think she takes a minute to adjust. Like, oh, okay,
Exactly,
I'm
that's
not-
what I'm saying,
I was
yeah.
just stoned. I'm not anymore. Okay, this body's fine. But you throw Shelby in, and the body is high. Like it is like on a chemical level. The body is high. Like it doesn't matter
Yeah.
that her brain wasn't. That's what she's experiencing now, right? So
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Like staring into a, you're in a well-lit room and then you go outside and it's pitch black and your body has momentum from the well-lit space and your eyes have to adjust and all that. Like, yeah, I think you would
yeah,
sober
is
up,
that
like,
why
immediately. But
pirates wore eye patches, or is that? No?
what?
What?
I heard before
you
that's
having a
why
stroke?
pirates wore eye patches, because if they were under the deck, then when they come up and it's super bright,
They could just switch
put
it.
the eye patch up and switch it, and they could just. Wait, but
Maybe
that doesn't
there were a
work because
couple,
their
I don't know.
eye was covered by a patch, which would be dark.
Yeah, it's even darker.
Never mind.
Yeah, yeah.
No, maybe that's what it is.
It
So
works.
if you're going
it's
below
the other
deck,
way. It's the
if you're
other
going
way. If
below
you were
deck,
in the
yeah, that's
sunlight
what
and
it
you
is.
went below deck, you
Yeah,
would
yeah.
want the dark eye. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's-
it's a really
that's the way.
situational.
That can't be true, right?
Hack.
No, I don't
Can you
think
imagine
that's
being
true.
the first pirate to be like, "Hey, man, you gotta check this out. Put this on your head."
This is new technology, the eye
Yeah.
patch.
I'll say, like, we won't put it past there having been like one or two probably that figured that out. But I mean, again, like, why are you wearing an eye patch if you're not missing?
And that's such a small thing too. Like it takes 2
Subterfuge.
seconds for your eyes to adjust. So Shelby, at the beginning of the movie, when they're pulling up to the house, she takes some sort of psychotropic. I assume maybe it's just Advil, but she takes some pills. You guys
Yeah,
remember that?
I don't think they were
don't
like something
remember
that was going to affect behavior, though.
Because she looks really like she's reading Nikki's posts online and like she's bugging out about the event that they're going to, and then like she takes some pills, and they get out of the car immediately and walk up to the door. I don't know how much the director wanted people to pay attention to that, and the fact that
I'm wondering if that was more of leaning into her character, which is very insecure
shit.
and
And she's jealous of Nikki. Not Nikki herself,
Yes.
but jealous of like how Cyrus feels about Nikki.
jealous of that, jealous of the popularity that Nikki has, right? I mean, like she's scrolling through Nikki's Instagram and then she takes her own, like on the car ride, she takes her own photo, posts it, and it's not getting enough likes, and so she deletes it,
She
right?
deletes it,
Like
yeah.
there's a lot of it really leans into her insecurity and kind of jealousy, and so I think the pills are just like a something she's taking for anxiety or something like that, and I
Yeah.
think it's just reinforcing that character trait. I don't think it plays a
I don't think
it
so
plays
either,
a role in the
but
body
I think it's
switching.
an
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, that was how I took it. It would have been interesting if they had played it as more of a like, oh, she's got a condition of some kind that she's taking actual medication for or something, and not just like a, oh, I get anxious sometimes and your doctor just prescribes like a mild, But yeah, like if it was something like, oh, I've got a chronic condition and I take
I
actual
mean, that's what they do
medication
with the
for
peanut
this or
allergy
something.
with Nikki,
Right.
Right.
So in
Yeah.
the second round, though, she starts to lose it. After everybody switches bodies, in the second round, it switches. It's going through everybody's perspective, and it switches to Nikki, who Shelby is inside of the body of, and Nikki's staring at like a fragmented reflection, like a bunch of mirrors that are shattered. Yeah, and she's like saying, "Hey there, cutie," like in the beginning of the movie. So, I do wonder.
I
if
don't think
there's-
I still don't know that I think that Shelby's on like psychiatric medication. I think that's just more like
Well, what,
again, we get
anti-anxiety?
shown, we get shown so like how she feels threatened by Nikki in some ways or jealous of her in other ways, and then she gets switched into her body, and now I mean, obviously, like, she goes and tries to have sex with Cyrus while she's in Nikki's body. Well, I guess it's not, like, it's Cyrus's
He's in
consciousness,
Forbes'
Forbes' body. Yeah. But, like, I wonder if it's just, maybe that she's not, like, losing it, but just this kind of, like, realization that it's like, oh, I'm her right now. Like, let's see what I can do with this. Like, I am gonna, I don't know. Because then she immediately like goes to the other guys and is like kind of playing up like the enjoying being in Nikki's body.
Yes.
And so I think it's more that's just kind of like the realization that like I have a lot more power now than I do as my own body.
It's like a fantasy. I mean, a lot of people like have this thing where they're like, oh, I wish I was that person, right? Especially in the world of social media now, where like we have influencers that people are like idolizing, and they're like, oh, I just want to be that person, right? And so here she gets this chance, and she's like embracing it wholly. She's like, oh, this is legitimate, this is real, I'm in Nikki's body, now I can live this reality, this fantasy kind of, right?
Can we talk about like I don't know, I'm just curious to get your guys' take on just the wildness of dying while you're in somebody else's body and not, or I guess of the vice versa, your body being killed while you're not in it and you can never go back into your body.
Oh, I
Talk about
love
some
that.
mental scarring.
I love that. Fuck this.
Let's get into that, Aaron.
Give me a body that's been pampered and, eats vegetables every once in a while and all that. Give me a second chance. Hasn't been absolutely
That's one
destroyed.
perspective.
Yeah.
I guess.
I think everybody in this movie
Um,
like are pretty healthy individuals, and so they don't have to worry about that too much. But can you imagine being like morbidly obese
That's-
and then you switch, and you're
But
you know,
okay, but I still think there would be something like you might enjoy some of the initial like, oh, I'm no longer overweight. I no longer have this chronic condition or whatever. But I still think, yeah, like mentally that would be so difficult because every time you look in the mirror, you're not going to see yourself, and you're going to have all
What a
these
blessing.
old photos like of you. But again, it's so weird. It's like if you have like say you've got all these old photos of like you with your significant other or with your family, and it's like that's not me anymore. Like
Well,
I
think
don't
about
look
how
like
weird
that.
it would
I'm
be for
never
your
gonna.
significant other.
Well, that too, yeah, or your family to be
Or
like,
anybody, yeah.
this is our daughter, but she doesn't like she looks like
Now
a
she's
totally.
a dude.
well, and if they didn't witness that, and then all of a sudden, the friend of their kid
Yeah, how do you
who just
convince
died,
people?
has shown up at their door and it's like, hey, I'm your kid.
I'm a different ethnicity
It's
now,
still me.
and
Yeah.
I think
Here's
it
some
definitely
random
calls
facts
into
that
question
only
how
she
much
would
of
know.
your identity is in your appearance, right? Like, if that happened to you and your body died and you were in somebody else's body, how, like, fast forward 5 years, how much have you changed as a person
Yeah.
because you no longer have your body?
My brother and I were talking about that last night because, yeah, I think that a lot of who we are as people is not just it's our biology and our the experience around us that forms who we are. So if you were to switch to somebody else's completely different biology, that would have to play a dramatic shift, I would think.
To some extent, for sure.
Yeah. And how long would it take for that to, manifest in completely different traits that would not have happened if, you'd never switched bodies to begin with?
Yeah, and I'm wondering how it would change what your interests are. Like, let's say you're somebody who doesn't like work. Like, so let's say you never work out, you don't really like exercising, whatever, and then you end up in somebody's body who's like super fit. Like, obviously, this has been something that's really been a part of their life, and you're just in this body forever now. It's like your mental habits are not have are not what they were for this person's body, right? You don't have whatever the desire or like the discipline or like whatever to like have this kind of body, but now you've been put inside of it. And so would you be able to keep up that person's body type? Would you have any desire to do so? Like, it's just very interesting.
Also, on the flip side, so like Beatrice takes Nikki's body, and now she's got a life-threatening peanut allergy that she has to worry about. And like, again, you want to talk about like mental habits and stuff. Like if Nikki's had that her whole life, like obviously you've adjusted since you were a very little kid. You know to avoid things. You're constantly thinking about it because you know it can kill you. If you haven't had to live with that,
Oh yeah.
I mean,
2 months
like
tops.
that's a big adjustment to make as an adult. To be
Yeah.
like, oh, I now have to worry about this thing that I've never had to worry about that could kill me within a matter of minutes.
Just carry
Yeah.
an EpiPen around with you at all times, I guess.
But even then, you probably still like,
Yeah, it just takes
are
one
you
step
gonna
up.
have again? Are you gonna have the mental discipline to actually remember to take the EpiPen with you? Are you gonna? Because yes, like somebody, Nikki, she knows she's always got to have one on her just in case. Like she probably has multiple, like probably one in her car, one on her, a few in different places so that she's prepared. Because that's usually how people that have these kinds of things are. But if you've never had to live with that, now it's like, would you remember to grab the EpiPen?
The question is like, would Paimon just make you forget to bring the EpiPen when you go to the party and eat the cake? Or, like, is that something that you do to yourself on accident?
Yeah, well, that's the worst possible thing we could mix possession with also being in a different body.
It's the same
Two different
thing.
forms of possession, I guess.
It's the same thing, right?
That's
How's
crazy.
it
We're
different?
we're 2 for 2 in terms of body switching movies.
Yeah.
Speaking
I
of
think
the
that would have
body
been more
switching-
interesting
What?
if we saw, and I know that's not the point of the film. The point of the film is like how everybody wants to sleep with each other apparently, and then some people die. But I think it would have been interesting if there were some like remnants of consciousness. Like if this was more about the device itself and how it didn't work perfectly, and if there were remnants of consciousness that were left behind when the switches happened, and so then you kind of have this like there are pieces of the other person's consciousness still in this body, and like how does that play out, right, when you've got these
Oh,
kind
how
of,
much
like,
weirder for the two people that died that they have like a little sliver of their consciousness that's left in their body or something,
Right.
even though most of them is completely gone. Like, oh, that would be.
Yeah, and
that would be
Forbes
really weird, right?
only did this for like who knows how long at a time, maybe 20 minutes, an hour at a time. Not,
Right, just to play Mafia.
Exactly,
or
not
whatever.
full on.
Yeah.
That we know of. I mean, maybe during their experiments they, tested different stuff, but we don't know. Like, it feels like it's not a perfect machine. You're just attaching two little nodes to your head. There has to be some...
Well, it's very much like Inception in a lot of ways, right? Because everyone's Well, I guess it doesn't happen in a dream world necessarily. Like everyone gets up, everyone's actually in the other person's body. Whereas in Inception, you're just laying there in a induced
You're
sleep
like
the whole time.
projecting into somebody's body instead of actually.
Right. It's not like they're
Well-
all just sitting there motionless in reality the whole time, right? I mean, they're actually switching and getting up and moving in other people's bodies. So it's definitely different, but there's some similarities, I feel like.
I think my favorite scene
What do you? Oh, go ahead.
in this movie was the switching, the very first one. I probably
Yes,
rewatched
okay.
that
I wanted to bring
like
that up.
6 times. Yeah, because it was good. For
Well,
one, because
the first time you see it, you don't know, right? And so
Exactly.
you just see everybody's reaction. You don't know what the thing does yet. You just see everyone's reaction for like 3 seconds, and then it cuts, and you're like, "What just happened?" Right?
yeah, because my first time watching the movie, I don't think it was like on my phone, but I really wanted to get on my phone and do something else because it just wasn't, hooking me. I was really trying to be disciplined and watch it. Then he busts out the machine, and then I was like, okay, a little skeptical still, but a little bit more intrigued. And then the switch happens, and I was like, oh yeah, I tossed my phone to the other side of the room. I'm in. I really liked it.
No, it's a great moment. I love that you don't know what the machine does yet before that scene, which makes that scene very engaging and very like piques your
Also,
curiosity.
okay, even more so, would you do it if somebody was just like, "Here, hook these up. I'm not going to tell you what they do. I
No,
just
that's
want
what
you
I was
to-"
saying. Like, there's very few people that are like, "Here, I have this like somewhat tested machine. Put these electrodes on your head." Like, just no. Ruben's
Yeah,
house
'cause
is not
I-
a safe space for me to do that.
Who would guess?
Wait, there's a giant sign that says trauma. Come on.
There's a pussy on the front yard. Who, like, I would not have guessed. I didn't guess when watching the movie that that's what the machine was going to do, was going to switch people's brains around. So I would not have done it. I don't know if somebody telling me that that's what it does would make me want to
Right.
do it
Would
more
you
than
change?
the
Yeah.
mystery option.
Right. I think in that situation specifically, it's just a lose-lose situation no matter what. It's like, whether you tell me or not, I don't think I'm letting you hook electrodes up to my head.
Yeah, that being said, though, like, if there's no consequences, it's a very clean, procedure or whatever, I would do it. I mean, that seems like
It's
a
like
fun night.
It's like with all technology, don't be an early adopter. Like,
Yeah.
let other people.
You don't want a beta test.
Yeah, no,
experience
not
the
that.
bugs first, It's like, no, I don't want the first edition of this. Thank you very much. So, yeah.
Yeah, but just that scene
I
where
want,
just watching everybody switch and, like, wondering who ended up in whose body and then, like, rewinding. I don't know if you guys did that, but, like, watching Forbes go into Cyrus and then, like, continue to talk. Like, Forbes is talking, immediately cuts off as soon as he pushes the button, and it's Cyrus now talking. And they did a really good job of, like, transitioning, and the editing of having everybody on the border of the screen, just class.
some of the editing was really
Cinema.
cool. I liked that. I liked the time lapse of like the Polaroids when they're taking everyone's Polaroids and leaving them on the couch.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
pretty cool. I like that we don't do flashbacks to the party, but we do this like black and white pictures, like it's memories, like crazy pictures that were taken at a party is pretty cool.
I
There's some
also
editing
like
things that I
that
did like.
as. Oh, I was just saying with that, I liked too that as people were correcting each other, the picture would change.
Yeah.
Like, where they'd be like, no, it was Dennis's birthday, and then the name would change on there. Or, like, when they're talking about, like,
People's
know.
faces would change. Which way
yeah,
they were
like
looking,
faces
or-
would change, motions would change, who was standing with who would change. Like, that was fun.
But the movie does do something very smart because this is a movie you have to be careful with, because you could lose the audience very quickly when you're not trying to, right? And they do something smart, which anytime the movie wants you to know who's actually in someone else's body, it does this like backlighting of red or whatever, sometimes green, I think, but it does like this backlighting, and you can see the actual person's the face of the consciousness that's
Yeah,
in
yeah.
that person's body, right? And so it does that a handful of times, more often than I would have liked, if I'm being honest, because I wanted more of that, like trying to figure out who's in whose body. But I think it was a really smart way of communicating that to the audience in a seamless way. I thought that was really, really smart.
Yeah, I think that if they didn't add the twist that Beatrice was the one in Forbes' body the whole time, um, and just the ending overall being so tense as it was, um, I mean, yeah, I think I would like a little bit more allowance to the audience to, make assumptions and play the guessing game.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it didn't need, like, I was still satisfied by the end because of, like, oh, I didn't see that twist coming, and, like, that ending was pretty tense and exciting. And, when she slathers the peanut butter on her face, you're like, oh shit. 'Cause
Yeah,
I didn't even
now
see
they're
the
actually trying to
jar of
commit
peanut butter
murder.
in her hand the first time.
right, right.
Yeah.
And I think though that like the twist is good in that one, you don't see it coming the first time you watch the movie. I don't think, at least personally, I didn't pick up on any point where they were telegraphing that, like often happens with twists in movies.
Wait, you
But
mean
then
the
also
peanut butter thing or the Beatrice thing?
no, with Beatrice, with
Okay, yeah,
Beatrice.
right. I definitely didn't.
Yeah,
pick
I
up
didn't
on it.
feel like I didn't feel like the movie telegraphed it at all. It definitely comes out of the blue, but it's a good twist too because it makes you have to go back and kind of reevaluate how everything was handled throughout the rest of the story versus just being like, "Oh, okay," and then the movie ending it makes
Yeah,
you go,
yeah.
"Oh, whoa." And then like you said, it does kind of reward then a second watch because you pick up on some of the things and you're watching it differently knowing that this is actually not who you think it is the whole time. Like it's not just once they start switching bodies with everyone else. It's like, no, Forbes has been a lie the whole time.
I think when I was watching it, one thing that seemed a little off to me, and in no way did I know that Beatrice was in Forbes's body. I thought Forbes was I thought Forbes was Forbes the whole time. One thing that I always found a little bit odd when watching it was the motivation. I couldn't figure out what Forbes's motivation really was. Like they kept talking about how like, oh, the party got him kicked out of college, whatever. But that didn't seem like he was obviously up to something shady from the first moment he shows up, right? He got that reptile look to him. Like he's obviously up to something shady. And
Although,
to me,
like-
I couldn't reconcile like what had happened to him as enough motivation to like really mess with these other people. And so that seemed a little off to me, but I didn't even consider that, it was Beatrice the whole time. And it makes sense then because she has a lot more motivation.
Right. Well, and again, because you have no idea what Forbes brought with him or anything. So for a decent chunk, like the first, I don't know how long it is, but for a first chunk of the movie, you don't even know what he brought with him. So you have no reason to think that it would be anybody other than Forbes anyway. So you're like, I guess I just have to take it
Yeah, of
on their
course.
word that he might be a pissed because of the getting kicked out of college thing. Like, you don't have anything else to go off of. And then I think by the time you start switching bodies, you're so absorbed in that, you're not even thinking about like the Beatrice stuff anymore.
Exactly, yeah.
You're
what I was gonna
thinking
say.
about like, oh whoa, they're switching bodies and now there's all this drama, and you stop thinking about the Beatrice stuff because it doesn't feel like it's important anymore.
It feels like you think that she's just a plot device basically up until
Yeah.
the very end.
Another thing I liked was when Forbes, Beatrice, does the Shelbo thing in the first round, and so everybody thinks that's Cyrus, and immediately, like, because at this point you're like, oh, this is interesting, like body switching, like I wonder where this is gonna go. Like the framing or the tone of the movie, it's going to be tense and mystery based or whatever. Even like from the first like 10 minutes. So you're wondering how that's gonna manifest itself, and then that happens, and you have the confrontation between Cyrus and Forbes, and it's immediately like, yeah, just juicy.
Well, and I think I really like what Forbes does, where he does that fake out where he does something that Cyrus would have done, and then everybody
Yeah,
thinks
yeah.
that he is Cyrus, right? Um, to me, that just pulls me back to Werewolf, where you like try and like it's a social deduction game, and you're not just lying, but if you're playing well, you're trying to emit signs and like whatever that betrays your allegiance to something that it's not actually. It's not just like denying, no, I'm not the werewolf. It's like, what can I subtly work in that makes it seem like I'm something else, not just denying it and saying, no, I'm not, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
motives within
very
motives.
Right. Yeah.
I just like to. Oh,
Go ahead. I was going to jump to
I was
ratings,
gonna
so go ahead.
I was just gonna say too. I thought another like just kind of fun thing about the movie was that it had clearly whoever like everyone involved with making it. There was a very distinct like vision for what the movie was gonna look and feel like, which I appreciated. It was unique. The music choices, the lighting choices, the editing choices, like it has a distinct feel that is unusual, I guess, and I appreciate that about it. Again, like just kind of when it comes back to things feeling like somebody had a vision for what they wanted to create, and that they weren't just looking to make something that felt generic or played, like didn't take any risks or something. So
Yeah, very stylish.
I just think visually the style is interesting, and I think that's part of what kind of adds to some of the enjoyment for me as well. Like obviously it's not a primary reason why I thought it was worth watching or talking about, but I can just appreciate it that it was its own thing, unapologetically, I guess.
I think the setting could have been. I think they could have done a little bit more with the setting of the film. Like and they even kind of tried to a little bit, where it's like, okay, this is Ruben's parents' house or whatever, and it's really like obviously they're kind of eccentric people, like whoever owned this house, right? Like there's the weird garden art, there's the mirror room, like there is some weird stuff. I feel like they could have leaned into it more. It does have a bit of a Clue vibe, where it's like, okay, there's the different sets, like okay, there's the greenhouse, like the old abandoned greenhouse kind of, and then there's like the porch swing area, and there's the mirror room. But
The
apart
theater.
from there's the cellar also, kind of where they tie up Forbes and Ruben's body, or Beatrice and Ruben's body.
It's not a cellar. I thought that was a closet.
Maybe it was a closet.
It looked like a bedroom closet to me.
I feel like they could have done. I wish they'd leaned into it even more and gotten a little bit crazier with the house. I feel like that could have made things more interesting. Maybe unnecessarily, maybe it would have convoluted stuff, but I wanted to see more of the house, I guess is what I'm saying. Like I feel like that house has more weird stuff about it that we didn't get to see, or the property in general, I guess.
Yeah, it definitely adds to the experience though. Like, because if this was just something that took place in, an apartment or something like that, then kind of boring. But the set is I don't know, eye-catching. Like, which room they're in when they're in a room.
And I like
Yeah.
that we're there for most of the film too. I mean, like there's the beginning at Cyrus and Shelby's apartment, them driving in the car, and then we are there basically the entire time up until the final scene in jail with Shelby and
Yeah.
Cyrus. Basically, pretty much everything else takes place at this house, which is kind of cool. It gives it a very much like you are there in the moment with these people kind of a vibe, instead of we're jumping around all over the place doing big time jumps and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, for me, I think initially this was probably like a 5 for me. There were some things I didn't like a whole lot. I felt like in a lot of ways it felt like the creators were just trying to me, too much of the film felt about like who's sleeping with whom and who wants to be sleeping with whom, and it felt like that was a lot of the motivation for like the action that happens in the film, and that didn't feel very compelling to me. Like obviously towards the very end we see that okay, it was all Beatrice and she had her own motives, and that kind of adds a different element to everything. But up until that revelation, it's just like everything feels so petty, kind of. It's just like people sleeping around and wanting to be not being happy with the person they're actually with or whatever, right? So I didn't love the motivation for a lot of the characters for kind of what they're doing. That in addition with the fact that I felt like it was a missed opportunity to do a really cool murder mystery. Like I feel like this really would have been a perfect setting to have like we switch bodies. Maybe we do one practice round kind of like we did. We have one more round. We only do one more and then has to charge for 24 hours, whatever. And somebody murders someone, right? To me, I felt like that would have been a really interesting direction to take it. It was what I wanted to happen, I guess. And so part of me was disappointed that it was still cool that people died. You know, I mean, I'm always a fan of that. But I found myself being a little disappointed. I wanted there to be more. I wanted it to go more of like the thriller horror angle, like I was saying earlier, and that it didn't was kind of disappointing to me. That being said, it was pretty entertaining most of the way through. I do like all the character switching because I started to get lost. I was like writing down, and it was fun. Like I was there with the movie, like writing down all the bodies, and then I was writing down names. And I would get one wrong, so I'd scratch it out and write the real one. Like that was fun. Like you're kind of playing along as you watch the film. And I appreciate it a little bit more after talking about it. I'll probably bump it up to a 6, because I still have my things that I don't love, about like characters' motivations and what they could have done with this. I think it's I'm surprised it hasn't been made before, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot more could have been done with it. But now that it's been made, we can't just copycat it and take it to the next level. So it's kind of what it is now.
Yeah, because I feel like there are so many different ways you could explore like the idea, and it's surprising that it hasn't been done more often. It's definitely a trope though, body switching, like time travel's been done, so much, but body switching hasn't. But it has been done before, and I think that this particular thing where you have multiple bodies all switching around, it's all close friends, like. There's so many cool things you could have went with that with
It's not
like
Freaky
fragmented
Friday anymore, right?
consciousness. Yeah, yeah. This felt like a toe in the water, like a dip, into what it could have been. Felt very accessible.
Exactly.
Because for me, a 5 is like, completely, middle of the road. I didn't like it, didn't dislike it. I would say, or like. It's neither bad or good, just completely normal. On the first time, probably a 6.2, because it is very well made. I really like the editing, the music. There's
I don't
fun
remember
little
the music,
bits.
to be honest.
They play up moments. I can't remember now either, but
It was kind of
That's
unusual
fine. I
music
believe you.
choices, yeah.
But it is a movie that rewards a second watch. And so on the second watch, yeah, I definitely liked it more and could appreciate it more, I guess. And so I'd probably give it a 7.2. Like it was definitely good. I wouldn't consider it like a waste of time. It was original, which is nice. There's not so much of that anymore.
True. Very true.
Yeah. Stylish, fun to watch. Because like the second viewing, you really get to like pay attention to how people act in their own bodies, and then when they switch, see that actor play the other person, and just how well they do. And some do better than others.
And it's
but, like,
funny because they're an actor, so they're just acting this character and that character, right? But they have to make it convincing that this is who they are, and then they have to be that person, right? Like, but it's all just acting because that's not who. Neither of those characters is who the person really is.
I'm playing a dude who's playing a dude who's playing a dude.
Exactly. Yeah. Because we can't have dudes playing chicks. This isn't Shakespeare, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
None of that 12th night shit.
I liked it. 7.2.
Yeah, I would give it, I think, just like a solid 7. I think that the idea is very interesting. I agree. I think there's probably some areas where they could have made it significantly more interesting. I I also wish that there had been less about the relationship drama
Yeah.
and less of an exploration, I guess, of the characters themselves, and like Nate said, more about the technology itself and the. Oh, do you have something you need
You
to
know
say?
what I want? Sorry, I'm interrupting your review here. I just realized what I really wanted this to be, because like what you were saying, like, and I totally agree. I don't like that the main element of this film is who wants to bang who. Like, that's not a compelling way for the events of the story to unfold and the interactions with the characters. This concept would have been fantastic if you took a setting like Murder on the Orient Express. If you took this and put it in that setting with that group of characters that are all, they have their ways that connect them, but it's not like a group of friends that all wants to like bang each other, but it's like, it's a group of people that are tied in a lot of different ways. And then you throw the body switching in and the guessing who's who and somebody gets murdered. Like, that would be the perfect setting for something like this for me.
Yeah, so when you were talking about like how you prefer it to be a murder mystery, in my head I'm like, I don't see how this particular story, like Beatrice, why would she do it? You know, why would anybody
Right,
murder
right.
anybody else? Like, it just wouldn't make any sense to me, and so I disagreed there. But if, you know, for some reason you have a bunch of, you know, people who are connected, and but there are motives for someone else to murder someone, and then for some reason they somehow all switch bodies, and then there was a murder, yeah, that would be
Mm-hmm.
infinitely more interesting and a funner watch
Mm-hmm.
than this, which was still good. But anyways,
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I don't think it's like by any means like a, oh wow, they really just nailed this. Like, yeah, there's a lot more you could do with the concept. And I do hope that maybe down the road, not necessarily as like somebody trying to be like, oh, we're gonna make a sequel or a spin-off of this, but just that this idea would come back in a different form with, yeah, like a little bit more intensity, I guess, than what this movie brought. But that being said, I do appreciate that they didn't only focus on the relationship stuff, that they did manage to be like, okay, we are going to have people die and we're going to deal with like what happens there, because that definitely adds a really interesting psychological twist to it of just trying to wrap your brain around, you know, how would you react to this? How would you process this? How do you move forward with your life if you're somebody that's affected by, you know, your body dying while you're not in it? And then, yeah, again, like I like the twist with Beatrice at the end because you don't see it coming for the whole movie. And I agree with Aaron, it does reward a second viewing. And there you pick up on things that you don't pick up on the first time. And it's definitely a movie I would recommend to somebody, because I think it's an enjoyable watch. I think that you have distinct characters and an interesting visual style and a cool concept, even if it's not being utilized to its full potential. So yeah, a 7 for me would be where I'd land. Nate looks like he wants to say something. Very pensive.
I'm just wondering, like, I don't know. I don't even remember who the director is. I don't know what else they've done.
not very much.
I'm not sure if I would. I'm not sure if I would be interested. Like, I don't know if this film would be enough for me to want to actively seek out something else this director has done.
Also,
In a way, it is, because it's like we took a cool concept, but I feel like I didn't love the execution of it. Like, all the characters are kind of little shits. Like, I don't like any of them. It just, like, it felt like there were so many swings and misses for such a good concept, you know?
you're never like really rooting for anybody other than maybe Shelby,
Yeah.
but even then, like, she makes some
Ish.
decisions
Yeah.
where I'm like, I would not, you know, hold somebody else's body
Mm-hmm.
captive
Mm-hmm.
because my boyfriend had a crush on them. Like, that's that's insane.
It's psychotic.
Yeah. That being said, he did write and direct it, so I
Mm-hmm.
think that's
Mm-hmm.
pretty cool.
It's his brainchild.
Yeah, for sure. I know, I'm trying to look and see if he's done anything else. Like,
He's got some credits with Cowboy Bebop and then some other.
a lot of music video credits, which is interesting. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how old he is. Maybe he's kind of just starting out too. Like, I don't know how much experience
Oh,
It
definitely. I
feels like
mean, his
his
stuff.
big
Well,
first feature.
as far as like, yeah. I was just gonna say, as far as like actual full length stuff, this seems pretty. Kind of seems
Yeah.
like it, but
So potentially, maybe down the road, he'll have some other things that end up being interesting, worthwhile. But yeah, like if this is kind of his directorial debut as a, or his writing debut, then yeah, potentially he just hasn't had a lot of opportunity to, I don't know, flex his creativity muscles. I don't know.
His creativity chops.
Yeah.
Good for a start though. If it is.
Yeah,
really his
definitely.
first.
Yeah, like I mean, if or even just as like being a very early film in your career, if you haven't really done, you know, like
Yeah.
if most of your career up to that point has been like music video stuff, and then this is kind of your first real entry, like it's a solid movie. It's not like a, yeah, that failed. Clearly, he has a taste for interesting concepts, and hopefully, then it would just be that down the road he would feel confident enough or like be empowered, I guess, by whatever studio he's working for to actually go further than with other concepts down the road.
was this a Netflix film?
I believe.
Yeah, which is
so.
kind of a bummer because
Which is part of makes me wonder if that's why they didn't do more with it.
Yeah. Well, but I don't
What
know.
do
Like
you
Netflix, like Netflix has done like their Netflix films. Actually, they have done a lot of somewhat interesting things. So
Yeah, but also, I don't know. They definitely tend to play it safe on a lot of things and kind of go with what's popular on a lot of things. I mean, like I said, I think it would be worth, even if we didn't do a whole episode, I think it would be worth talking about how poorly, like, the just Stranger Things, like the crash and burn there, like, of just not doing a
that.
good job.
Oh.
Doing a, I don't know, having it be too, I don't know. Not that the issues are the same with this movie and like with Stranger Things, but like something that got talked about a lot with like the, and not just something that I saw other people, but like I noticed it while I was watching it, was the second screen viewing issue with the 5th season of Stranger Things, and that there have been some,
haven't watched it. Not
struggling.
gonna watch it. So I don't know.
okay, yeah, but just that that was clearly at play in how they wrote it and put the show together, or the season together. And there's been other people at Netflix that have talked about how like the general sentiment there is that they need to do more of that, because they expect people to be on their phones. And so it makes me wonder if there's some of that at play here, because this movie's only from 2024, so it's not old enough where
Sorry,
it's like,
for those of
maybe
us in the back, what are you talking about? Second screen viewing? What do you mean?
second screen viewing is that they expect people to be on their phone while they watch TV, so it really harms the quality of the writing, because there's a lot of stuff that is just characters over explaining, reiterating.
That's been happening
exposition.
for a while,
Yeah.
though.
It's been happening for a while, but it's getting a lot worse. And now, like Netflix, I think there's been other studios that have come out and said that they're writing for that as well. But like I know Netflix specifically has come out and said like, yeah, we expect people to be on their phone, and so we're pushing for like more stuff to be written for that kind of an audience, which is going, like, it really harms the quality of work you put out, because you have to tell on everything. You can't show. You have to be like, yeah, we don't think that people are watching the screen, so we have to have people just come right out and say stuff, basically just talking to the audience to be like, remember, this happened last episode, and that's why this is important this episode. And then also that they tend to put a lot of action heavy stuff up front rather than building towards like
To catch
satisfying
people's attention.
conclusions on things. Yeah,
Like
because they need
Aaron.
to catch attention.
What? What did I do?
No, you said that your hand was creeping for the phone until the
Oh, come on.
until
Okay,
the moment where everyone
because
starts freaking out.
because like none of the characters seem likable. It's just, you know, Okay, so my impression of the movie was that it was going to be some sort of uh, character-driven drama, which in a way it was, but I had no idea that there was a sci-fi element to it. So it wasn't my cup of tea, I thought, um,
Right.
until it did
And
its
yeah,
thing.
like
Yeah,
the first, what, like 15 minutes kind of are like that, where you're like, okay, yeah, all these people got together. Sure, like I understand why you were kind of like, ugh, I don't know if I really like this until it brings in the sci fi element. But I guess just all that, I'm saying that like Netflix has really, they're not shying away from that. Whereas like there are other people in Hollywood that have started to talk about, and they're generally like more seasoned actors and people that have worked on films that are like, no, I don't want to do that because that harms the craft of
yeah,
filmmaking when
But
you're
it also
designing
comes
stuff that
with
way.
the perspective of things going direct to streaming as opposed to theaters, right? Because if you have a lot, it used to be that it was like a lot of our money that we make is going to come from the theatrical release, and a theater is like a no phone zone, right? So like that
But people
shifts
still sit
your,
on their phones when they go to the theater now.
definitely
it's,
not compared
but
to your living room though.
it's not like being at home,
Well,
right?
sure.
So what I'm saying is that when Netflix is making films, they're making films knowing that people are watching them in their home environment, where the moment something doesn't interest them, they're reaching for the phone, right? Whereas if
Right,
you go
wait,
back
which
15 years and you have films that are being made and for the theatrical release, like that's not even crossing their minds, right? So it makes sense that like Netflix is one of these people that's leaning into that element more.
but it's coming from other studios too that are not primarily like they don't have a Netflix. They're not Netflix. Like it's not like, oh, we don't really do theatrical releases, we only do streaming. It's coming from other, like it's getting more widespread where they're realizing that, oh, everybody's just on their phones all the time, whether they're in the theater or at home. They're not going to be paying full attention, and so then we need to, or not need, but they're choosing to alter things to be more friendly to that kind of demographic. And I guess, yes, from a business perspective, I understand why you would feel like you needed to make that move, but it's still just frustrating, as a viewer who actually appreciates a movie or a show that's well made and that treats the audience like they're paying attention and that they're intelligent enough to follow what's going on and to connect dots on their own. And that they don't need every episode to reiterate what happened last episode so that they can follow along. And so I just think kind of that general issue might contribute to some of the stuff of like maybe why this film is kind of the way that it is, that it didn't go as deep as it could have, that it didn't explore the idea as fully as there was potential to, because if they are still looking at it as like, well, we don't expect the audience to be fully paying attention as they watch this movie, so we need to try to keep most of it more surface level and just about the relationship drama, and we'll just kind of add this cool element of the body swapping. Versus maybe if it was made by somebody that wasn't Netflix, there would have been more room to do more with it. And so, I don't know. I guess I was just saying, like, there's definitely a problem. Like, Netflix is not a. If they continue down that route, then yeah, I think the quality is only going to continue to decrease, and it's definitely not a good place for people that want to do truly creative things.
I mean, I think that's been on the rise for a while, just with, I mean, I don't want to wax boomer here, but just with, decreased attention spans and, you know, that kind of thing. I feel like that sort of storytelling and movie making has been on the rise for a while just because of that.
I think that's always been an issue. Like people, they've never had much faith in their audiences. I mean, their ability to connect dots and, their need to force exposition because they don't have any faith in your ability to figure out what's going on. I think that's always been an issue. I think Netflix has you know, a novel issue that they have to deal with where, yeah, you're in your living room, you're not expected not to be on your phone. Um, and so how do you combat that? I think that with like Netflix though, they green light enough movies that, you know, some of them are going to be the kind of movies where you can shut your brain off, and then others are going to like there's probably going to be some small budget passion projects, which I think I assume it was a passion project of a sort because I mean written and directed by the guy.
Right, right.
Nobody is a recognizable actor or actress. 2.5 million budget, um, and it's a movie where I think that you really can't be on your phone after a certain point.
Right. But see, again, that's kind of what frustrates me is that it's like, Netflix on the one hand, they want to be like, oh, well, people are going to do this, so we have to make movies and shows that cater to people that are going to sit on their phone. But it's like, also, couldn't you kind of force the reverse of like, if you don't cater to that and you go, we're just going to make good shows, good movies, and we're going to expect, like, it's just going to be kind of like what other directors and actors and stuff said, where they're like, no, we don't want to sacrifice the quality of what we're making to accommodate somebody who wants to look at their phone. Like, either they'll look at their phone and they'll miss what's going on in the movie and that's on them, or they'll recognize that they need to be paying attention and they'll put their phone down. And maybe it's kind of like Netflix could kind of be like, no, we don't care that people look at their phones. Like, we still want to make a good quality product. And then that might drive people to not be looking at the phone, because you're only enabling it. Like, if you cater your shows to people that are going to sit on their phone the whole time, they're not going to have any reason to put their phone down. Like, if they're like, yeah, I can just be listening and glancing up every once in a while, why I don't need to pay more attention, why would I put my phone down if that's what I'm enjoying doing? But if you made stuff where it requires the audience to participate more or to be paying closer attention, then people would have to put their phones down to get anything out of it. Otherwise, it's like, why do you have the show on at all? Which, like, yes, could hurt Netflix in the short term, but it just feels like you're doing more harm in the long term, because you're just going to keep continuing things that way. Like, you're not doing anything to stop it. You're just enabling and saying, yeah, well, if this is the way things are going, we're just going to speed it up and move that direction even faster.
So I want to give credit where it's due to Netflix, because just while we've been talking about this, I was curious. I was like, I know that there are genuinely well-made Netflix originals, right? So I looked up, I don't know how it's from Entertainment Weekly. I don't know how they're ranking it. But I was just like, okay, what are the best Netflix originals, right? And there's some here that I didn't realize were Netflix originals. And I'm like, damn, that's a really good movie. I haven't seen it, but All Quiet on the Western Front is one from 2022. Apparently really, really good.
Isn't that a
Ballad of
remake?
Buster Scruggs. I don't know.
Oh
It's a
yeah,
book,
and that one's
so.
good.
Ballad of Buster Scruggs is a Coen Brothers. It's not a movie. It's a collection of short films, kind of. But that one's really good. I mean, Coen Brothers. You want to talk about intentional filmmaking? Like, yeah.
What years are these from, though?
So All Quiet on the Western Front is 2022. Ballad of Buster Scruggs is 2018. 2019, you've got The Irishman, which was really good. I don't know if either of you guys saw that, but that's a classic. Well, it's not classic. It's from 2019, but it feels like it because it's a Scorsese film with Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, Joe Pesci, Harvey Keitel. Like, it's a mobster. It's a good old Martin Scorsese mobster film, but it's from 2019, so it's like really good. There's definitely stuff on here that I don't know. Maestro apparently was a Netflix film. I didn't see that. That's the Bradley Cooper one. Marriage Story with Johansson and Adam Driver.
You got some good memes out of that.
Is that the Good Soup one?
I don't know. I know it's the one where he's like slapping the wall and like turning around and screaming at her. I'll send you the
Yeah,
meme
it's
template.
Where all the memes
I'd
come
probably
from, of Adam
recognize
Driver
it.
like
You've probably seen it,
rage
yeah.
crying.
Yeah.
Okay, but I guess what I'm saying is, like, a lot of these are more than a couple of years old, and definitely the push from Netflix to do more of the second screen viewing type writing is very recent. So I'm not saying that Netflix has never had an original that was a good quality product. It's just that I'm concerned about where it's going, because we're already seeing that, like, it is affecting
Yeah, the
things
brain rot is
that have come
accelerating
out.
for sure.
Right. And it's like, yes, they have had really good things in the past, decade that have been originals. Absolutely. But they also were not intentionally leaning into the second screen stuff yet either. Like, because genuinely, I don't think you're going to bring Scorsese on to make a movie and he's going to be like, yeah, I'm going to make it for somebody who sits on their phone the whole time. Like,
Yeah,
I just
'cause
don't
he's a
think he
real
would do
director.
that.
Yeah.
Right. The problem is if Netflix as a company is like, okay, we think that, like, this is going to be our business model moving forward, that we want to make things that are specifically for this kind of viewer, it's going to do way more harm than good. Like, yes, there will probably still be the occasional thing that's like a really good, worthwhile project, but I think overall you're just going to see more and more of it become garbage, because I don't know how it couldn't if that's
Sure,
what you're
but you're going to see
focusing
that with
on.
all films, not just
And I already
like
feel like
Netflix
that's the
originals,
case
right? So-
anyways.
It's definitely, yeah, and I'm not saying it's only Netflix, but like Netflix has come out and just said explicitly, like, yeah, this is how we want to approach things now, and that's a
well, it's a
relatively
business,
recent shift.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
mean,
mean,
I
like,
guess
make
my
money
hope,
or
the most
won't.
money.
yeah, I mean, I guess my hope is that there will still be people in Hollywood that have enough integrity as artists and filmmakers that they refuse that, and that they are still going to be like, yeah, I don't want to cave to that kind of,
But things
I don't
also
know, like
change.
remedial filmmaking.
Things also change. Like there's like what we would consider movies that we like, I don't know, from the aughts or the 2010s, like movies that we think are really good might be horrifyingly bad to directors from 50 years ago, right? Just because of the changes in filmmaking and the things that they don't agree with, right? Like the average shot time and like dialogue and stuff like that, like how that's changed. Stuff that we might think is great, directors from 50 years ago might think is despicably bad, right? Just because of how the industry changes. So
Maybe, but I think that that's more like that's probably going to be more personal taste, some of that stuff you're talking about. The problem is with when it's the actual story writing, which is the issue with the second screen stuff primarily, is that it's the they can't do as much with the plot and what actually happens in an episode or in a film, because they have to constantly double back and reiterate things, and they have to constantly have characters explain things that should be obvious to everyone involved in the scene for the sake of the audience. And they're really not talking to the other characters, they're talking to the audience to be like, reminder, this is this thing that happened 30 minutes ago. And so it's the actual story writing that's suffering, not all of the technical stuff that goes into like what has changed. Because like, yes, I know there are trends in filmmaking as far as the visuals, the editing, the shot type. Those are more like, yes, those are more subject to change, and I don't think anybody expects those to stay the same all the time. And I think that even if somebody doesn't love something, they're still able to look at it and be like, I could see why this was an appreciated thing back whenever this was made, and that it isn't necessarily bad. But that's because the story writing is still good in all of those. It's still telling a good story, it's still written intelligently, and it still trusts the audience regardless of how the shot is composed or edited. And that's a totally different issue than just poor writing in general, because poor writing is poor writing regardless of how well filmed it is. Like a shot can look beautiful, but is it like, are you going to want to watch a movie that's beautiful but that like barely accomplishes anything as a story because it keeps doubling back to reiterate things? I don't think you're going to want to watch that. Because why would you?
well,
Someone will.
because it's a visual medium. Like I would there are certain movies that I would absolutely love to watch if the focal point of the film is the cinematography and not the plot. Like I'm not
But
saying
it's
those are my
not.
favorite movies, but I'm saying it like, but you said like something that has like beautiful shots and stuff, like that has value
Right,
too,
just-
right?
Yes, but just saying that like something can look beautiful but still not really be worth your time, because again, it's a visual medium, but the point of watching a movie is to engage with a story. And if you're barely being told a story, then it seems like the technicalities of how well the movie is put together outside of the story don't matter as much, because you're still not being delivered a satisfying story. And the point of watching a movie is for the story. Like, it's different than watching something that's just supposed to be like Planet Earth, or some kind of like, oh, this is just supposed to be beautiful scenery or something, and we're not actually trying to tell you a story. If you're watching a movie, the point of a movie is to enjoy a story. And if there's very little story being told, it's going to get annoying, because if the movie's 2.5 hours long and you're like, basically they told the amount of story that we could have told in 45 minutes, and there was no reason for it to be that drawn out. Like, it's not an artistic choice. It's just a like, we can't trust the audience to have paid attention for more than 10 minutes at a time choice. And I think that just, again, like, I don't think that that's going to drive people to want to watch a film, at least not if you enjoy it. And then in that case, if it's just somebody putting it on because they just want something on in the background, what's the point of making it look good anyway? Because they're not really paying attention either. So you probably, I mean, my guess would be both things will suffer. I mean, we've already seen that in a lot of ways. The actual like look of film has suffered anyway, because a lot of it ends up being poorly CG'd, or it's all shot on a or like on a sound stage, and a lot of it doesn't look good anyway, regardless of the story being told. And so I think that just those two things together are just going to keep exacerbating one another.
Doing what to each other?
Exacerbating?
Just kidding. Anything to add, Aaron? I just asked if you had anything to add before we wrap up our another 2.5 hour episode.
No, not really. What are we watching next?
Whose choice is it?
I
It's
believe
mine.
Nate's. Yeah.
Okay, it's probably. I need to think about it because it's probably still going to be Crimes of the Future, which I know nothing about other than
right.
it's a David Cronenberg film.
Right, you had
and
mentioned that one.
Viggo Mortensen. Get Out's probably still on the list, but probably going to be Crimes of the Future. So.
Hell yeah. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
I
really am.
I guess.
I really am. I have. I genuinely don't. I don't even know what it's critically. I don't know how it's been received. I don't know anything. But I do know
Title
that.
sounds badass. Crimes of the Future.
And it's Viggo
Come
Mortensen,
on.
man. Like he has.
Oh right, yeah.
Like, none of his performances have ever fallen flat. Like probably the weakest thing I've ever seen him in was Hidalgo, but that was maybe more that movie had other issues. But just everything he is such a committed actor. He's just phenomenal. So
The title kind of evokes the oh, I just lost the name of it. Was that the Tom Cruise movie?
Minority Report.
Minority Report.
Minority Report. That's kind of what it makes me think of. So I'm interested to see if it's kind of gonna if it's that or
which
if
I've
it's
never
gonna be-
seen, by the way.
You've never seen Minority Report?
No.
You should watch that.
I tried watching it, but while laying in bed and I fell asleep. The concept
Well, that's
seems
not
really
really
cool.
endearing.
No, I was tired. I was putting on something to fall asleep to, so I'm just saying
You
I've seen
turned
a
on
part of
Minority
it.
Report. Okay.
Minority Report is great. Okay, well, I'm not going to say anything else if neither of you
Yeah,
guys
maybe
have
it's
actually
great as next
watched it
thing.
all the way through. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I don't know how similar it is to Crimes of the Future, but if they're super similar, I don't know if I would pick it. But
Well, Cronenberg is like The Substance, right?
Gritty.
Like, yeah, body horror.
He didn't write The Substance.
No, I'm saying like that sort of a. What she becomes at the end of the
He's-
movie, she's a monster of like flesh or like The Thing, you know. Cronenberg.
I know that Cronenberg is really gritty. I don't know if he does body horror so much as he just does a lot
I'm
of like brutal
pretty
violence and weird
sure-
sex stuff sometimes.
Somebody else googling it?
I'm looking up David Cronenberg.
Yeah, I can't wait to be right
About what?
about Cronenberg being like a.
it
like,
says
if you
he's
say-
the king of venereal horror, or the Baron of Blood, is what he's known as.
Yeah.
Baron of Blood. Is that
That's a pretty badass
self-proclaimed,
name.
or-
I don't
Oh,
know. This is
Baron
on his
of Blood.
IMDb page.
Well, I mean, like
He
it's at the point where
He
like
did-
you say like you see a movie and you're like, oh, that's a Cronenberg film or Cronenbergian. I
Right,
don't know.
right.
So
he did The Fly.
yeah, body horror, like
86.
really gross,
Um,
pussy and fleshy blood and. So if
I
it's
guess the
Crime
stuff
of
of
the
his that
Future-
I've seen wasn't body horror as much as it was just generally violent. Like, not Dangerous Method, Eastern Promises, History of Violence, both of which are Viggo Mortensen films. I'm trying to think. I don't know if I've seen anything else that he's done. Cosmopolis.
Crash.
Oh, he did the screenplay. Okay. Yeah, I really haven't seen much of his stuff, so I guess I can't. My opinion doesn't have a lot of weight. So, all right. Well, that is It's What's Inside, and we will see y'all next quarter.
3 months.